right, welcome everybody to Gogotalx, brought to you by Gogotalx. As always, I'm your host with the most, Malachi Johns. I don't know what's going on with Instagram. It's not letting me paste the information, but if you're on Instagram, make sure you head over to youtube.com/Gogotalx so you can check out the other side of the conversation and hear the much funnier than me, Tony T. Tony T, my man, Mr. Buffini King. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for figuring it out, making it happen today, man. Appreciate you, bro.
What it goddamn do, Mal? Man, you already know. My apologies to everybody that tuned in the first time. I had some technical difficulties. I had an emergency, but I'm here.
Nah, man, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. And I have to say, you are the first person that I'm aware of in Gogotalx history that went out and bought a new laptop specifically just to do this interview, and then you see you getting rid of it afterwards. So I appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much for making it happen. One of the funniest guys I know. Again, if you're on Instagram, make sure you head over to youtube.com/Gogotalx, and you can hear the other side of the conversation as well. That's Gogotix. So, Tony, let's start this off the way I started off with everybody. How'd you get into music, and how'd you get into go-go? The long story, not the short one.
All right, well, I'm 35, man. My father was a light technician and drummer for the singer Millie Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Millie Jackson, my father was a light technician and drummer for Millie Jackson. He actually was currently coming off a tour when he had passed away. So basically, while I was young, my dad was always like in and out of town on tour. So I just wanted to I just fell in love with music from there. And when my dad passed, I ended up with a pair of Congos.
So how old were you when he passed?
11, like 10, 11, yeah.
Okay.
And I ended up with a pair of Congos from his best friend. His best friend was like, look, these better in your hands than mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just had the Congos, but I had a mom that was like, we live in Southeast in the apartment. Don't be banging on shit. You know what I'm saying? So I never really got a chance to really, you know what I'm saying, teach myself. So with that being said, after that, I went to Hine Junior High School. Okay. And Hine, it was a marching band. So it was like kind of putting out curriculum that we had to take music. And so I was in music or whatever, and you had an option. You even was gonna play like a woodwind instrument, a tuba, or you was gonna be a percussionist.
Right.
For one, I knew goddamn well I wasn't gonna play no tuba. I was too small for that.
You weren't gonna play the clarinet, yeah? The cornet.
Let me tell you about that though. I'm gonna get to that part. So I knew that I didn't want to play no woodwinds or no shit like that. No brass, none of that. So I went to the marching band and was playing the snare. So we learned the snare, we learned our rudiments and all of that. But they kept saying that drumming was easy. It was too easy. So we had to take a B instrument, and it was the clarinet. And they made us play the clarinet, right?
Right.
I fucking
hated it. Playing the clarinet. I
hated it, bro.
Young, I need pictures though. I
probably could find it. Hine Junior High School they had a jazz band.
Okay.
I hated it. You know how you got a line to read up with the end of the.
Yep.
You know I ain't lying. How would I know this, man?
Yeah.
You had the line to read up with the end, and then they was charging us like $2 for a read or something like that. And you know how easy it is to break those?
Yeah.
Man, we in the marching band. We put them in our pocket.
Yeah, right.
We put them in our pocket. They supposed to go in little holders and all. Man, it was just crazy. So, I fell in love with the music. So when we started going to Hine, I played in the marching band or whatever. And on the flip side of going to school at that time, it was like a lot going on in the streets of DC at that time. Like,
well, wait, let me stop you for 1 second. First, I got to interject for a second because Busy D Williams is over here on Instagram talking shit. And first of all, if you would follow directions, and be on YouTube instead, you would be able to hear what Boney's saying. Anyway, nah, that's my man. But so what was it about the clarinet that you hated though? Like, I want to dig into that. Like, what was it exactly? Was it just the fact that you had to pay $2 for the reed and they were easy to break, or you just didn't like playing the like?
We
Was
from
it?
Washington D.C. If I know this is going all over the place, like people
Yep.
watching this from everywhere. In Washington D.C., we joke around a lot.
Yep.
You cannot eat hot dogs in public. You cannot eat ice cream cones. Anything of foreign object nature, you cannot just like play with that in public. So
anything that might be slightly phallic in nature, if you don't want to put it up to your
yeah.
mouth. I get it.
So to be
I
marching
understand.
down the street with a whole wooden instrument to your mouth, your man's and them like, he blowing the wood, cuz. Oh, look, you know, shit get
That is
crazy, man.
terrible.
Shit
That is
get
terrible.
crazy.
Right. Gotcha.
But yeah,
Okay.
like, so that's what it was. Like, I was like, bro, like, no, man. Is it something else that I could do? Like, I even tried to play the cymbals, Malachi.
Okay.
You know how strong you have to be to play the cymbals?
Yeah, because they're heavy as shit. They carry them
I
down the
knew that
street.
that wasn't for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Neither was
Right.
the clarinet.
Right.
I say, all right, cool. On the flip side of that, since I can't play those, what is it? The marimbas?
Yep.
They fell under percussions. Guess what?
Okay.
I started playing those. I'd rather play these than to be standing over there playing that. And that's the route I went.
There you go. That's what's
Yeah.
up. So that's for anybody that knows, like, it's a percussion instrument, but it's melodic. You play notes on it. So it's like if you know what a glockenspiel is, the glockenspiel is the metal version. The marimba has the wooden. What do you call them? I don't even remember what they're called, but I remember I used to have to play it in middle school
Keys.
too. Is it a key? Is that what it's called? A key? I couldn't remember. Yeah, but yeah, it's like Roy
It's
Ayers.
like basically a big keyboard that you bang on for real.
Right.
And
For sure.
what are the ones called, Malachi, that are like circular now? Then people be playing with their hands. I seen a couple of videos of them lately.
Oh, I don't know. I have to check that out. I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I gotta
It's
check it
like a
out.
steel drum, but they playing it with their hands, but it gives that sound.
Still gives the melody. Yeah, I don't know. I have to check it out. You gotta send me a video or something like that. And if you're watching and you know what it is, leave it in the comments. Okay, so you start playing the marimba, and how did you get any music theory out of that? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the notes are laid out in the same way they are on a piano, and obviously all the music theory comes from the piano. So was that teaching you anything about like intervals and chords and shit like that, or you were just banging on it?
Yeah, see, at that time, right? We didn't really understand music because we was new to it, Malachi. So
Right.
At the time where they was teaching us like rudiments and things of that nature, we hated it. Like, why are we learning these rudiments when we know how to play the beat? I play by ear. You understand what I'm saying? So I play what I hear. I don't have to know the rudiments. I could play it, but they was teaching us the fundamentals of the music. We was new to it. You get what I'm saying? So with that, I learned how to read music to a certain extent and understand how to read the notes, but I still ended up learning how to play the keyboard like I play those. So I could play the keyboard like this versus like this.
Right. Yeah, but that's still yeah. I mean, that's music theory. That's knowing where the notes are and all that. Yeah, I mean, you might not be super duper technical with it, but if you know the intervals, it's how to hear the intervals between the keys. That's still music theory. So yeah, absolutely. All right, so you're playing the marimba. You're in middle school. What comes after that?
All right, so on the outside of school, like, it was like a lot going on in the streets at that time. So to actually get kids to actually come to school and be in school for a whole day was an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? So at that time and time, people was at the verge of not wanting to go to school anymore. They was learning how to make money on the streets and, you know what I'm saying, just be everything but a good kid. So on the flip side, we told our principal, like, hey, people would come to school if y'all gave us a go-go band. And they
Okay.
would, yeah, I lie to you not. Miss Kelly from John Tyler told Mr. Adams they were brother and sister. She told
Oh,
him
wow.
like since they were going in my elementary school, the schools were blocks away. They was brothers and sister principals. She was like, since they've been going here, they've been banging on things. Like this is what they
Right.
really like. She told him. He green lighted it. We
Mm-hmm.
ended up turning the marching band and jazz band instruments to the go-go band sound.
Okay.
The thing was when we came up, you wanted to play like backyard. That's what it
Okay.
was when we came up. You wanted to play like backyard. You might put titty balls or do the duck walk or something. And the shit that was on the radio, the top songs of the radio
Right.
at that time, original
Right.
songs. So
Right.
with that, bro, tell them I'm on the video again. So with that, we got the band together, and every half a day we worked out a plan with the school that allowed us to play on half a days. But
Okay.
on half a days, they would charge us like $2 to $5 or something for people to come in their multi-purpose room on half a days. But it got people to come to school, so people started
So
coming to
so
school.
what? So wait, break this down. So this is like you guys are playing as a go-go band for the school students, and that's what's bringing kids to school, or it's just the ones that are actually in the go-go band that it is convincing them to come to school, or is other kids in there just watching y'all?
They told us we can have a go-go every half a day. If
So
y'all
okay, like
came to
I asked you.
school, you
Uh-huh.
able to go. If you don't
Wow.
come to school and you miss a certain amount of days, your ass can't go. At that time,
Wow.
if your parents see at that time, I'm 35. I've been in the going to
Yep.
go-go since I was like 12.
Right.
When we was going to go-go's, you had to pay $100 to get in. We were too young. So you really had to be somebody in your neighborhood to really be able to experience the go-go at that time, to be able to go to the real go-go at that time. So when you came to
Wait,
school, it was
$100 to get
yes.
into a go-go. Okay.
When we was coming up, all right, listen, you had to pay Big Mac, whatever they wanted out front. You
Uh-huh.
had to pay the door, whatever they wanted out front. And one
Uh-huh.
of them security niggas was gonna say, you ain't got ID, I need $40.
Gotcha. Okay,
You
I
know what I'm
got you.
saying?
So
So that's what it
because you were underage, you were getting
money
taxed.
talked and
I
BS
got you.
walked.
Yep,
You know what I'm
I got
saying?
you. I got you. I got you.
So
Okay, so this was incentivizing the kids to go to school, because this is important. That's why I'm sticking on this for a minute, because obviously there's some of the similar issues going on in DC right now. There's
facts.
obviously initiatives going around go-go. So maybe something from the past can inform what's going on in the present. And so you were incentivizing kids to come to school, to not be in the street, by allowing them to play in a go-go band instead of the jazz band, which nobody really cared about. You're charging the kids like $2 to $5 to come actually watch the show, but they have to have a certain, they can't have a truancy rate over a certain amount. They have to be coming to school, and they have to, but it's way cheaper for them to go see this than it is for them to try to get out and go see
Yeah,
Backyard
because
or whoever. Yeah,
it ain't even about being cheaper back then. Your mother wasn't letting you go to the go-go.
for sure,
Period.
for sure.
Like my mom ain't know I was going to the go-go, but I was going to
Okay,
the go-go. You get what I'm saying? It was only
for sure.
like 5 of us in the whole school that could have this conversation at lunchtime about what happened in the go-go. And it might be
Gotcha.
2 from one neighborhood, 1 from uptown, 1 from over there, and we talked about it because we seen you last night. But the rest of the
Right, right,
school, like the black hole, like what's
right,
that? They don't know nothing about it. The pilots,
right,
like, what's that? And we talking about these go-go's. Yeah, we was at the Magics last night and this and that, and they looking like, what's that? But they know that they
right,
want to go to the go-go. So what could
right,
we do? Bring the go-go to school.
right. Well, real
You know what
quick
I'm saying?
before we go on, my man Stacks a Million said it's called a pan drum. The thing you were talking about earlier that looks like a steel drum that you play with your hands is called a pan drum. So
Pan drum. The
yeah, pan.
sound is beautiful.
I need to
But when
check
I
it out.
seen it, I was just like, what the hell is that?
Right, right. Real quick, if you're on Instagram, make sure you head over to youtube.com/Gogotalx so you can hear the other side of the conversation. So, okay, all right. So this is really interesting. So, okay, and because a lot of the older guys, they got into the go-go and they got into music. Well, they got into it through the school band, but they were introduced further to it through the showmobile program, where the you know the city was paying these bands to go out and play on a showmobile around all the neighborhoods. And so here's another example of how sort of um, like an institutional force, like a school or the government or whatever, can help foster the arts and foster the creativity of younger people, and also help to keep kids off the streets. So rather than just locking people up, give them something else to do. So this is important. So okay, cool. So you're right. What was the name of the school go-go band? Do you remember?
Black Love. And this was the
Black.
thing. At that time, we only played like everybody else's music. But when we
Right.
established the band, um, I was doing outreach for a group called Metro Teen Age, and they had me as like a teen outreach counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And they was having a festival in Southeast on Alabama Avenue. They needed a band, and I
Okay.
spoke on the band like, I got a band in school. Mind you, Malachi, we have never ever played outside of school at this time. Like, I got a
Okay.
band, we could play.
Mm-hmm.
They looked and was like, okay. I wasn't expecting that, Malachi. I was like, oh
Right.
shit, like they really said okay. Went and told everybody, I'm like, look, we got a real show in 2 weeks outside Alabama Avenue, and we really going to play this show.
Right.
Went to school. We really started practicing out of school. We came up with original music, Malachi. We really became a band from this show forward, right? We
Wait.
goes
So
to
in
the show
2 weeks,
in 2 weeks.
you came up with original music to play at the
Mr.
show.
Anderson and Mr. Rodney Childs, that was their name. Mr. Anderson was the band teacher at Hines Junior High School. Mr. Edward Anderson and Mr. Rodney Childs, he came to teach our drum section. They taught us the one-on-one, the 808, a socket beat, a pocket beat, a bridge. They taught us all of this, and we hated it. We hated it, Malachi, because it wasn't what we wanted to play.
What did you want to play?
Dun, 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 backyard. You know what I'm saying? That's what we wanted to play. Right. But they was
so
teaching us music.
So when you say backyard, this is around what year? This is early 90s or like okay. So backyard had already started to kind of move into the Timbali
Tear the
phase.
club up. Tear the club up.
Right. And so for those not familiar with go-go that may be watching, like, backyard has obviously been around for a very long time. And when they were first coming up, that it was, go-go was far more driven by conga, as we call them, Congo beats, and backyard sort of, I mean, all the bands had Timbali beats, even back for Trouble Funk or Rare Essence. But backyard was, in my opinion, from what I know, was the first band to really start having the Timbali beats dominate most of the set. It was more of the set than previously before, where like my old band, the Northeast Groovers, like we wouldn't get to the Timbali beats until like the end of the second set, when when things are really jumping up. But backyard was the first band to really start.
It was a reason why. It was a reason why y'all didn't play it till the end too. Cause that shit got y'all shows ended.
Yeah, well, that's true. This is true. Yeah. My man Dig Dug,
they used to go off.
Started. Right.
Yeah, they used to go off when y'all Timbalis came on. You know what I'm saying? So it was a reason why y'all's was, but it was the same with back too, because people was used to the Timbalis, but it was certain songs that they could play that could end it, potentially end the show early. You know what I'm saying? So they had to learn how to play those songs at the end. Like when Tear the Club Up first came out, people thought that that's what you was really supposed to do. Right. That's not what you were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like when y'all had Fight, people thought that was what you were supposed to do at one point in time. No, we telling you have fun for real. Like don't really
right,
listen to what we saying,
all right, all
but
right, all
listen
right.
to what we
Well,
saying.
let me address a couple of comments because my man, you Street Music Group said BoJack hit it. So yeah, I'm not saying that Backyard was the first band to play timbales, and my man Michael Arnold, who used to play in my first Gogo band, Occupation, he now plays for Still Familiar. Said Occupation, you should start the show with toms, and I agree. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that nobody ever played toms before, or nobody played toms early in the set before. I'm just saying traditionally coming up in the 90s through the mid 90s to the late 90s, it was more common for it to be congos throughout the whole show. And you would just
Yeah,
start to get to the
timbales was like
timbales
a
toward the
treat
end.
to your crowd. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It was like a treat.
right,
Like it wasn't. You wasn't. Nah, it wasn't there for everybody to just play all the time. It was a treat for real to your crowd, for real.
right. Exactly. Yeah. So,
We came from doing this, two-stepping and shit. You wasn't doing that to no timbales. They was doing that to
right,
congos, and then it
right.
progressed.
Right, exactly. Okay, so you're in this band. They're teaching you the one-on-one, which is one of the most famous Congo beats in go-go. You didn't like it. You didn't want to go to the bridge. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to tear the club up.
Did you
So,
see how that 360 and worked in my favor now?
mm-hmm,
When I
mm-hmm.
told you back then when I learned it and I hated it, like, why would I ever need this? I really needed it again in life, bro. Right now, today, with who I am with right now, play every beat that I learned in 7th grade. And here I am, 35 years old, Malachi. They play it the same way I learned it in 7th grade. If it
Well,
ain't
even
broke,
back, even back up before seventh grade, when you were talking about learning the rudiments and stuff like that, and this is a big, if we look at the sort of the decline of go-go as the prominent, not necessarily decline, because there's certainly a resurgence happening right now, but there's been sort of a decline in the youth interest in go-go over the past 10, 15 years. And a lot of that has, I think, correctly been attributed to the fact that music has been taken out of the schools. So but you're sitting here talking about, you were learning the rudiments and, basic music theory at a young age. And then the school, sort of facilitated because it benefited them too. That's the other thing too, that I think is important to note. Like it benefited the school to do this because it gets the kids to come back to school because they're incentivized to do so versus just finger wagging and you need to come to school, young man. It's like, no, we're going to give you a
we
reason
already heard
to
that
come to
at
school.
home. So when you did that, it was like, so ass out
Right.
of here.
Right. Exactly. So I think all of these are important points. So okay, so what happened at the Alabama Avenue show?
So we went to the show. We played all original music, and when it's time to play, right? Mind you, this how I became to be the person that danced behind the timbales.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't be dancing, Malachi. I really
Right.
be marching. I
Okay.
really be counting the music. But
Mm-hmm.
people be on the outside looking in, think that I'm dancing and trying to show off. I'm really, really counting the music and doing exactly what I used to do when I played the quads or the tripes and marching band, and that was
Mm-hmm.
the tricks, the stick tricks. The
Right.
difference is I don't have to march anywhere, but I still have that as a count. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to throw my sticks anywhere, but I still could wave my hands and party. So
Right. And it's a show. And it's a show. It's interesting. It's a visual, which is what sort of your signature and something that's been lost in go-go. I think over the years, we used to be, when I started in go-go, it was everybody was band and show because there was steps and all kinds of stuff going on. The front line was doing steps. And I'm not saying that's the only way to do a show, because clearly you can do a show without doing coordinated dance steps. But I feel like we've lost any sort of attempt to do a show now at all. Like
we
the whole front
actually
line just stands behind the microphone. But
when I
what you
say they
do,
told us that, we really was doing that, Malachi. We had our front line was fucking dancing like junkyard. They had us watching
right?
Taxi Cab. That's the name of it.
DC Cat. Yeah, DC Cat.
They made us watch that so many times, bro, just so our front line could learn that damn move that
This
they did.
This is your teachers at school made you watch it.
Mr. Childs and Mr. Anderson made us watch this, bro. We really was dancing and all of that. We really was doing that because when we came up, I had a job at DC TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
KSO Productions. They had Pure Elegance. They had all of those bands on there. Remember that? That show on there? I was hosting one of those shows. It was called Inner Vibrations. I was a host on it. They had Pedro and Pure Elegance on it. The entire time, they danced. Put your one leg up. They did dances. I went back to school and was like, look, we got dance. That's what I seen when I finally seen another band besides who we was focused on. They were dancing.
Right.
Back to that show. We get on stage. We play. It was a part of the song said, party with Tony. TonyT work. I worked out and I danced. A limousine pulled up. Old ass Cadillac junk, you know what I'm saying? But back then, a limousine was tight. We looking at the limousine, we like, damn, who the fuck in this limousine? We finished playing.
I know.
Chuck Brown gets out of the limousine, bro. He's like,
he
comes over there, he like, yeah, so y'all. You drove the limo.
No, I didn't drive the limo, but if you watch the video to Welcome to DC, Mambo Sauce Welcome to DC, and you watch the end of it, and Chuck Brown is on his phone saying, let Mambo Sauce out of jail to the fake police chief. He's literally in the back of his limousine in his driveway in Waldo. So that's how I knew who it was. Yeah. All right. So what did he say? So what he said to y'all?
He said, hey, so y'all the band that was playing, you know?
Should have put on your gold tooth, man.
He like, yeah. So y'all the band that was playing, we like. It's fucking Chuck Brown. He like the Black Elvis to us at that time. You hear me? Like,
yep.
Chuck Brown know us. Like, he came, he shook all of our hands. He got all of our names. He signed the autograph for all of us. My mother is a Chuck Brown head. He signed our autograph. He took pictures with the band. And then he got up on the stage and he played. Right?
Wow.
When the show was over, he introduced us to his band. Still till this day, me and Ed Congo played like this. I never forget it. And he remember where he knew me from, where he introduced me.
Talk about Mighty Mo?
Yeah, where he got introduced to me at and everything. You know what I'm saying? But just that day alone was like, oh shit, Chuck Brown know who he is. Like, we really a band. Nobody couldn't tell us shit no more. From that day forward, we were a band. Like, we went to school. If some of us got in trouble and was like, well, you out of the band for 2 weeks. It's like, shit, we don't care. We got a show tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, we started getting shows after that. Like, Chuck Brown started putting us on show mobiles. We got on those. Then we moved to Department of Recreation, started giving us shows in the recreation centers, which is gone now.
Right. You know I didn't even realize the showmobiles were going that late. I thought they stopped before that. So
nope. They still was going. And they gave us shows into the recreation centers because showmobile had really slowed up for real. Remember, people started wilding at the outside functions and shit. So after that show, we became a band or whatever. And at that time, it was like, if you was a band, Malachi, you had to pay to play. That's just what it was.
Tell me the because this is, I assume you're talking about, we're getting into the 20 for 20 type of stuff at this point, right? My man Daryl Jones, he's a loyal dude. He watches every single show. He said you just made a new hashtag Black Elvis. So there you go. We will attribute that to you, sir. Every post about Chuck Brown from now on must be hashtag Black Elvis, courtesy of TonyT, the Buffini King.
We really thought, listen, but listen, am I lying, Malachi? He ain't just like him.
He was. He absolutely
he had on some cowboy boots, bro. I never forget it, bro. It still had the snake head at the tip of the boots. With the little jingly things at the back of the boot.
The Spurs.
I can't make this up, bro.
The jingly things, yeah.
What are they called?
Spurs.
He
Spurs.
had them on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talking about Chuck Brown, bro? He ain't
Yeah.
have a goddamn horse on Alabama Avenue, but he had them jumps on his boots with the hat. With the hat, bro, with the it wasn't even an eagle feather. It was like a red robin feather or something in his hat, bro, and a black hat with the red robin feather. Never can't
Right.
forget him. He had the little
Right.
Prince type of collar with his suit, and he went up there and he rocked the show.
So what do you think that says? So that's an important point that I think is glossed over. Like, oh, first, what's up, my man? Boosie Vegas, checking us out. Sally Williams, what's
That's
up,
my
E?
man.
OP, yeah, indeed. Um, so you talking about a few things that are really important to know about Chuck, who is the most luminary figure in our genre, hands down, right? You talk about the fact that he presented himself in a certain way that lets you know that he's a star, right? Who's wearing snakeskin cowboy boots on Alabama Avenue but Chuck Brown? Nobody, right?
With
You
the
talk
snake
about
head on it.
right,
You
but
gotta put that part in there. They
you
snakes
got
the
this.
boots was like this.
Fool, man. So, all right. So the rattlesnake was about to bite your feet. So, um, so the and he took the time out to introduce himself to all of you. Remember your names. What is that? So on one hand, you've got a guy that is what's the word I'm looking for? That is cognizant enough of the fact that he needs to maintain a certain appearance to be seen as the star that he is, right?
Understood.
But he is also humble enough to make sure that and this is not a unique story. Like this is a lot of people tell stories about Chuck, about how he helped them, how he, introduced himself to them, sign or, whatever. Like he's just I mean, my favorite Chuck story, I met him a few times, but we asked him to be in the Welcome to DC video. I was like, just like you were, super excited that he did it. And then he left a voice message on my phone thanking me for it. I'm like, thank me, thank you. You're Chuck Brown. I literally had that voice message on my phone for like 3 years, and I would just go back and listen to it like, I really did something because Chuck Brown left a voice message on my phone. But I think it's important to know that because it's possible to be, it's almost necessary to be cognizant of building a larger than life brand, but humble enough to know that you don't have that brand without the people that support you. And I feel like that's something that might have gotten a little bit lost along the way, lost in translation with go-go, where the ego in go-go musicians and go-go bands is so large that we forget that it's the people and it's the bands coming up under us that put us where we are, and we need to be cognizant of the fact
Now, do
that
you
that's the
see
case.
more on why I be feeling the way I feel about certain things now? You see why? Because the things that I experienced and the people who I rubbed across and they didn't shun me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like when I see people up higher shun people that's really trying to learn. I ain't get that type of treatment. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always take to my peers and always speak on behalf of my peers when people be like, you worry about the wrong people. Like, no, I came up when people was really worried about those people. You know what I'm saying? Like Chuck Brown came out and really made his crowd feel like he ain't shit without them. Not
Right.
come on stage and make your crowd feel like they ain't shit. That's two different
Right.
things.
For sure. For sure. Well, I think it's funny, but also I would say that I think he was I think Gogo has really, if you really look at it, sort of been behind the curve of the music industry, but ahead of the curve at the same time. Because if you look at what's going on in the greater music industry now, that's a lot of what people are talking about is direct connection with your fans. Like, don't be so high up on the pedestal. make sure you're talking directly to your fans, letting you know that you appreciate them, giving them experiences that they won't forget. There's all kinds of apps and stuff like Cameo where, you can pay, somebody can pay $200 to have, a celebrity like send you a special birthday wish or something like that over your phone. And it's basically just like the 2021
It's like
version
you know
of,
me.
right. But it's like the 2021 version of what GoGo's been doing for 30, 40 years, just on a bigger scale. You know what I mean? So it's like we have a lot of the right ideas of how to do this stuff. It's just where, we can execute them in a little bit better way to get it out to a larger audience. But that's a little too far down the
I think we
lower
underestimate
part.
ourselves. We
Mm-hmm.
looking for the outside to help us out when we can help ourselves from within. That's what
Yeah,
I know. You know what I'm saying? Like I
I
done
agree.
been on tours that was self funded by us sitting in the barbershop with Polo, and we putting this money up ourselves because the band ain't get paid for this month to go do this
Mm-hmm.
show down A&T to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
I know that it's possible for us to do it, but it's about the he wasn't scared to take risks. People gotta be able to take a risk now and not take a risk
Right.
on your watch.
Right. All right. Well, we going. I went a little too far, so we're not the TCB yet. So we still on Black Love. Chuck Brown, showed you guys love, gave you the confidence. Now you're a real band. Now you starting to get into the pay for play situations. How did that make you feel when you discovered that was how things were working?
Um,
Or did it make you feel any way at
we
all?
we ain't had no problem with it.
Okay.
We didn't have no problem with it at first because I spoke on this before, and it's gonna come back around full circle. When we got introduced to GoGo, it was duck Uncle Sam, get your money in cash, and be at that show that you agreed that you're gonna be at on time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Early, if you supposed to be there early, whatever the management came up with. That's what it was. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, if Malachi did a 20 for 20 and we found out about it and we contacted Malachi and he said, hey, we doing 20 for 20 is 100 to play, our band gonna come up with 100 to play. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
at that time, all across the board, that's what was going on. It was just about who
Uh-huh.
was charging you the most or who was charging you the least or whose show was really jumping. Because after a while, you had to play on those shows and make a name for the Coops and the Big Vics to even come put you on their shows. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And you could tell when they was looking for somebody because they'll pop up at those little shows. You know what I'm saying? Where they
Right.
don't normally be. They'll come there because they looking for
Right.
somebody to
Because they're
bring on their
scouting.
show.
Yeah, and
Facts.
they're seeing who the people are coming to see, and they're seeing who the people are partying with. So it's the same thing as building a business. Like, yeah, I mean, because that's essentially what it is. When you start a business, you have to put money into marketing costs. And so essentially paying to play, well, I have feelings about it. I don't necessarily agree with it as a strategy. I've never done it as a promoter. I've never done it as a band, or a manager of a band. But I also understand that it was, but this is what I do know though. When I first started playing in a band in Annapolis, we literally would play the club every week, or we would play at the Stanton Center, which is a community center down the street from me every week. I would watch people come in paying money to come see us play, and it never ever occurred to me for like probably 5-10 years that I was entitled to any of that money. Like, I was just happy to play. I was just loving it. I was just having a great time. So we never paid to play, but we certainly played a lot for free, for nothing. But also, it was building up your fan base. You got to do certain things to build up your fan base, and the way to do that in go-go in the 90s was to play a lot. And
And it
so,
felt good when people seen you out and was like, "Oh, you from that band?" Like you enjoyed that.
right, absolutely, absolutely. So did Black Love ever make it out of doing the pay for play shows to either just playing for free or paying, getting paid to play for shows, or did that come later?
Yeah, because at that time, You had Dollar Bill doing the 20 for 20s. You had somebody doing the $5 Fridays, the 5 bands on Fridays at Studio 63. You had that going on. And what happened was we played on those shows a couple of times, Malachi, and we were from DC. Those shows had Maryland bands. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
At that point in time, it was like DC bands played in DC and Maryland bands played in Maryland. We were the only band at that time that was willing to go from the city to Maryland. So when we went out there, it was like the hoods that we were putting on was not in there. You know what I'm saying? So we had to learn what was going on with the two. Once we won over their crowd out there and started gaining some Maryland people, our manager was like, "Look, we could throw our own show." And we like, "Look, how can we do that? How can we throw our own show?" And he like, "Well, you live around the Gons, is a recreation center. Your aunt, the cheerleader coach, tap in, see if we can rent the recreation center." Smart idea, but now that we're older, dumb idea. The recreation center was like, cool. You guys could get the recreation center for like $200 from like 8 to 12. But the door go to us for the sports team. We ain't care. Cool.
Right.
Now, we got expenses, Malachi. $250 to $500 for the sound.
Yep.
Security wasn't really needed because you had your homies from around the way. They could be securities. Like, people knew them. So it was cool. And the $200 for the rec. Now, this show might got 150 to 200 people that paid $5 to $10 a piece. And this money supposedly went to the sports team.
$2,000 gross, yep. Which you guys paid.
And this was every Friday and Saturday we had it stamped every Friday and Saturday. We were even going to I'm gonna tell you even worse, number 2 Boys and Girls Club. That Boys and Girls Club hold 500 to 1,000 kids. We went there every Friday to play with NWO and this was like, it was NWO and like one of them bands that Ben was managing at that time that was kids from Surgeon Quarters. When we went there, it was 500 to 1,000 kids from all over the city, and they wasn't getting paid. We wasn't getting paid, but this shit was packed, Malachi, from front to back.
And in this case, the money was going to the Boys and Girls Club, or you think it was going somewhere else? I know that look.
Where are the Boys and Girls Clubs? They gone. So even if it went to them, what the hell?
Right.
They are gone. So even if the money went to them, the hell.
Right.
But this went on for like 3 to 4 years consistently.
Okay.
Somebody ate great. You know what I'm saying? And we were fine with it. We passed our flyers out at school. We go there, we see our peers. We got the Siri bar, we really played. People got the hairs. We got to record a slumming ass tape. You know what I'm saying? We were cool with that.
Yep. Right.
We was cool with it. So at the end of the day, what was taught to us as being cool right now today is a fucking finesse. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is as time progresses.
Right. Well, so all right. So what happens after Black Love? What's the next band?
All right. So no, Black Love, we still was playing. We
okay.
You know, M.O.B had, it was like a few bands in the city. They had their own entities. Like Uptown, they had the number 2 Boys and Girls Club with their bands. We had ours around the Gons. M.O.B had the Ringmasters. It was a boxing ring over Kenilworth. This is one of the most legendary go-go's ever. It's never gonna be forgotten. It's gonna always mean something. This go-go was like an old boxing gym, Malachi. They put up some Radio Shack ass speakers. The fucking old karaoke church mics. And the bands were selling this bitch out. And I'm talking about, one time we played, it was 2 people holding the roller toms with their hands, bro. Like The people didn't care.
Definitely been in lots of those situations
They
with the
didn't
speakers
care.
on sticks and the duct tape together, timbales, and
They
all that
didn't
shit.
care. It's 250 to 500
Right.
people crammed in this little gym. They did not care. I'm talking about we playing every Friday. So then
Right.
at that time, we graduate in school and we can't really keep the band. Everybody getting split up. So I'm like,
Right.
look, well, I'm about to go play with M.O.B.
Okay.
And I ended up playing with M.O.B. That's when
Well, how did you know? I mean, did M.O.B ask you to come play with him, or you just
yeah.
said, "I like the
See,
band"?
the whole time, all of us that played in all of these bands were all friends.
Okay.
From when we was kids. From all of us lived in
Mm-hmm.
each other neighborhoods. All of us hung
Mm-hmm.
out with each other, and everybody just started getting bands because that was the thing to do, was to get a band. We wasn't no rappers here for real. At that time, we were rapping, but I was rapping on like I was winning contests on like the Live Squad and shit like that on 93.9. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I know like
Yep.
P Stu and all them. I was
Please,
winning
man.
little
Yep.
Dorito contests, and so it was like to rap was like jingles and catchiness. You know what I'm saying? It
Yep.
really wasn't a focus for real.
For
So we
sure.
all got in our bands or whatever. Everybody had their bands, and the whole time I was playing with Black Love, M.O.B. Tinko is from around my way. That was M.O.B.'s lead Mike. He
Okay.
kept saying like, "Man, you got your own band, but you know you belong over here with us." Because
Right.
their band was most of my peers for real, and my band was people I went to school with. His
I
band
got
was the people I hung with
you.
outside of
I got
school.
you.
You know what I'm saying? So he like, you
Mhm.
really belong here. Long story short, I ended up
And
going
so
over there.
you're playing.
The
You're playing.
Black
What are you playing in the band at with Black Love? And then what do you? What are? Is it congos, timbales, marimba? What do you?
With Black Love, I used to be
Yeah.
on the mic,
Okay.
rollatons, and the congos.
Okay.
Like, and it's old videotapes and shit, all that shit. Like, and this was fun to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we had a multi-talented band, so we had songs where we would switch around. Like, we had fun.
Right. Right.
When you got older, they kind of shunned that shit. But I still think till today that should be done. Like, you should be able to have some fun. You know what I'm saying? Rapper does it sometimes. Like, you should
Yep.
be able to
Play
show if your other
congos.
band got talent. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
No,
saying? So
I used to play bass and guitar in one of the bands I played with in the Occupation, the first band I played with. I would have to put down the
that's
bass, pick up the
tight.
guitar, put down the bass, pick up the guitar, put down the bass.
That's
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But people, they act like that's crazy to do, but not, that is actually talented. You know what I'm saying? So we were doing that. So when I went to M.O.B, they had a roller time player. But again, at that time, we were learning how to be kids, and people had to decipher if they wanted to be in the streets or be musicians. And they
Right.
was like, look, he keep going to jail. If he go to jail
Mm,
again, you can come play. Shit, the
gotcha.
next day this motherfucker went to jail.
So
So,
was how much more established than Black Love was M.O.B at this time? Was this a step up for you, or was it a lateral move, or was it like
we were equal. We were equal
okay?
because
So it was a
we
lateral
had a
move.
show, and if we had a show and they wasn't playing, the same people was gonna be at our show. If
Gotcha,
we wasn't playing and they had a show, it was the same crowd at they shows. So we started
gotcha,
doing things like, if they playing, we'd go feature on their show and they'd feature on ours. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like the
gotcha,
same crowd. We were equal. They just played different music. You know what I'm saying? We were
gotcha.
playing 101s, 808s, sockets and pockets. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right, right.
and they was
Oh, so
playing,
that's what Black Love was doing. Was playing
yeah,
that
and
stuff. Okay.
M.O.B was playing
Watching Bollies and Rototoms.
the Lil Wayne rap songs and the Young Jeezy trap songs to the go-go beats. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha,
So
gotcha,
they had people ears because whatever song was on the radio that was hot, M.O.B
right,
played it. You know what I'm saying? So
gotcha.
I ended up going on over there. He ended up going to jail. I played with M.O.B for a host of years. Me playing with M.O.B, Goldie from around my way started start hanging with Polo real tough. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
kept telling Goldie, like, could you tell Polo to put our band on the show? Like, we really know how to play. Like, just give us a chance. Shit happened for like a year. I kept asking this shit and like giving them CDs and shit. And it was like, yeah, all right, cool. Polo pull around the way, you run down on them.
Hold up. So you were asking Goldie to talk to Polo. You were giving Goldie CDs
M.O.B.
to ask Polo. Say again? Yeah, of M.O.B. to ask him or to try to get him to get Polo of TCB to put y'all on their show for a year before it happened. Okay. That's important because I think everybody just wants to put a band together now and just 2 seconds later be the hottest shit. And it takes time and it takes perseverance and it takes getting better. So I just wanted to point that out. So okay, so
it ain't about who you know. It ain't really about who you know, man. It's about really having talent. And and at the end of the day, sometimes let me correct that. Right now, today is about who you know. Back then, it was about having some talent. Now niggas is just fuck with you because if Malachi say that such and such is tight from Cali, motherfucker will fly him over here and put him on a song without hearing this shit before they call his man that used to be in his band 2 years ago who really knows the pop. You know what I'm saying? Because of whatever they falling out is, he'll just run with your word of mouth.
I think you slightly overestimate my influence, but I appreciate the compliment. But
no, it don't have to be you. I'm just saying, like the next person's word of mouth, people will run with what they heard from somebody versus what they know.
Well, but one I do want because I make this point a lot in this show about relationships because it's not necessarily just about who you know. I think people get that part mistaken. It's not just I know a lot of people that are far more successful than me. But I can't just say, hey, Mr. Successful Guy, can you press a button and make me successful too? You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works. You have to have something to bring to the table as well to make that relationship work. Now, it doesn't mean that nobody will ever give you a shot. Nobody will ever, reach their hand down and try to lift you up. But they got to see that you're working for it yourself and that you're out to get it yourself. Nobody's just gonna. I hate when people say "put me on." I fucking hate that term.
What the fuck is that?
Nobody's gonna put you on, or like you gotta put yourself on. And when you try to put yourself on, that's when the people that are further along than you are gonna put their hand out and try to lift you up because they see that you're doing it for yourself, not just sitting on your ass waiting for somebody to help you. You know what I mean? So that's the part that people leave out of the equation. Yes, it's about who you know, but you have to have something of value to bring to the table to that person that you know in order for them to help you because they're trying to keep their shit going on too. Like even at the highest levels, everybody's trying to keep their fucking foot in the door. You know what I'm saying? So they can't just open it and let everybody else in because they're still trying to keep themselves in. You know what I mean? So that's a really important point. So Polo, I assume or presume, finally, after a year, said yes, right?
Yeah, not exactly. After a year, he agreed to put the fucking CD in the radio in front of our face. He probably was throwing that shit out of the window.
So after a year, he finally at least listened to the CD.
He played it right in front of us. He put that shit in the radio right then and there. Like, man, let me see the CD, man. Turn it up. It's like, all right, who y'all manager? And then we was like, Rome. And he was like, how perform it? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's my man. Called them. It's like, yeah, they could play at the La Pearl on Saturday. They gotta be there at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Back up for 1 second. So at this point, where was TCB in their ascension at this point? Like how popular were they? What clubs were they headlining? I was a little bit out of the loop on the bounce beat circuit at that time, so I don't really know. So tell me, like, what was TCB doing? Like, what level were they at that point?
At that time, TCB was just making their mark in Southeast. They had already had their Uptown wave. I knew about them because I love go-go and traveled and just already knew about them because of my affiliation with Goldie and them. But
right.
they was just coming like to the southeast side playing in like the Magic's Club and what the hell is the name? Nelly's on Good Hope Road. Like they was playing in those little hole in the wall little spots, but they were packing them out.
But this is probably what, a couple years pre CFE time, right?
Hell yeah,
Like,
this way before all of that. Like
yeah, okay,
these clubs
yeah.
that I named, like these jumps was like hole in the walls, bro. It was like
right.
TCB. Other option was like the Coffee House, the little library downtown, the Palace, the Black Hole, things of that nature, opening up for back. You know what I'm saying? Like it was back. So, basically, TCB was just about to start Make That Ass Clap. It was right before Make That Ass Clap started.
Okay, which is
so
kind
they
of
was they was getting a buzz with kind of like the slow dope jam. Remember when TCB was playing that way? Because again, every band mimicked Backyard at one point in time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like the slow dope jam. They was like really finding their niche. So we started playing with TCB or whatever. And in between time, I had some family issues that had happened. I left town. When I left town, they bought somebody to replace me. Cool.
Hold on real quick. Sorry. Alizé, what's up, bro? Hey, head over to youtube.com/Gogotalx, and that's the other side of the conversation on that junk. Got my man DJ Alizé watching on Instagram.
That's my man.
Yeah. Good dude right there. So, all right. So, my bad. So, you had some. Well, first, I want to call out one thing. You said he finally played your CD. He said, Rome, y'all can play Saturday at 9:00. Like, what day of the week did he tell you that? Like Monday or like Thursday?
like Friday.
Okay, so y'all can play
straight
tomorrow. Okay, so that'll give you a little insight into the workings of go-go right there. Like y'all play the next night. You know what I mean? So, all right. So anyway, okay. So
you been begging me? Oh, you been begging me? Now what? Like that?
Right, for sure. Yeah, like be ready to jump on. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, you got to be ready to go, or else you're gonna fall.
Yep.
That's what's up. So okay, all right. So so you had some family problems. You went out of town for a little bit, and then what happened?
And my grandmom had got sick, and when I came back, they was like, "Well, we found somebody to play the timbales while you were gone."
This is M.O.B.
Huh?
This is M.O.B.
Yeah. We got somebody to play the timbales while you were gone. Mind you, these are my real friends that I hung with outside of school. Sandbox. Cool. They like, yeah, you was gone. We had 2 important shows while you was gone. We got somebody to fill in. So, doing business, when you come back, we feel that you should battle him for your spot.
It must have been good, huh?
Young and immature, we were. That's how young and immature we was. Like, if you had a roller time player and your band played, we would say y'all battled because you did a rack of rolling out, he did a rack of rolling out, and it was a battle when the next day on who did the most rolling out. Niggas really wasn't doing no rudiments or nothing. Malachi, we thought we was doing something. So they was like, you got a bad one. I was like, all right, cool. On the flip side, I had went and talked to Polo about what happened and was like I wanted to battle him, but on the flip side, I wanted to battle him, and then when they give me my spot back, say fuck y'all and just don't never show up again. Like this was etched in stone because these was my men, and I felt like y'all was being like foolish by even coming up with that concept. You know what I'm saying? And then when it really came down to it, it was like it wasn't our idea; it was his idea. So it was like, was it? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, cool. I talked to Lo, and I was like, man, I fuck with them. They're my man. You know what I'm saying? The management is your man. At the end of the day, this is what happened. This is what they did. This is what they want me to do. He said, cool. He was like, if you want to do it, do it. He was like, but the moment you finish, TCB got a spot for you.
Okay.
It's like, cool. I did it. I did the show or whatever. Long story short, the person ain't never come back, and I ain't never come back. So I created a situation like I fuck with y'all on the outside. We still hung with each other and all that, but when it came to the band, I'm not playing.
Right.
No love lost. We still was friends, still hung with each other every day. When they about to go to band practice, I'm about to go to band practice. You know what I'm saying? We left it
Right.
like that. So I ended up
Wait, so
meeting.
the other dude didn't even show up for the battle that was his idea in the first place?
No, I was gonna spank his ass, and he knew that. He just was standing tall because they hyped him. But
Right.
he knew I was gonna spank his ass. See, this is the thing. I really know rudiments. I
Right.
just at that time when I put rudiments in the go-go, they thought it was sounding like a rack of bullshit because they didn't know it was a rudiment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the things I knew how to do playing in the back formula, I could put my rudiments in that just how Sauce do. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always
Right.
took to him because that's what I grew up on. I could do that shit. It's just what I play now don't allow me to. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? Because the style that I came up on is not the style that I play in right now. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's what it was. So I ended up finding Ock, and I told them I was like, I'm not even petty. If you want a roller time player, my man could play. Ock started playing with M.O.B. Till this day, he thanked me for putting him in position because he played for UCB now. So I helped him out, and he thanks me for it. In my eyes, I didn't even know that. I just looked
Right.
out for my man who played and told me he liked him like me. He liked the roller times.
Right.
So
Right.
I went on the TCB or whatever the case may be, and they had Ock over there. So what happened was in their eyes I went to TCB, but in my eyes I never went to TCB for like a whole 2-3 months after that. Like I still was going to see TCB at their shows. So when M.O.B opened up for TCB, I'm there with Polo and them, and they see me over there with them. Like, the fuck he really be with them niggas? Like, you know what I'm saying? At that time, it was like, they don't really need me. Why the fuck would I go to their practice when I play for M.O.B, they TCB? Like, why would they need me? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for 2-3 weeks, Polo was like, he'd see me out at the club, be like, Shawty, man, I told you to come to practice on Tuesday and you didn't come. Like, this is my second time asking you. Like, what, you need some money or something? I'm like, fuck no, I don't need no money. In my eyes, y'all don't need me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't need the money because we still was being knuckleheads. So for
So did
3
they
weeks,
have? But did they have did they have a
they
roll
had
top?
love.
Love was there at this
Yeah,
time,
they
right?
had
Okay.
love.
So what? So if they already had love, what did they need you for?
Because at that time, uh, love was about to get married.
Okay.
Or you know what I'm saying? In love. Love was in love. You know what
Love
I'm
was in
saying?
love.
Yeah. So at that time I came around, love was like, look, I fucks with you. You know what I'm saying? You remind me so much of myself. I think it'd be cool if you was my backup.
Okay.
I'm like, they don't need me. Like, y'all just fucking playing. Y'all, they don't need me.
Right. Right.
Like the third week, Love was like, I'm not asking you no more. Like, if you don't come, that's your final time. I went to the club, and that night Love wasn't there. It was an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, it was a thing if you was somebody here to come in the club late. You know what I'm saying? Make an entrance. When I got in the club, it
Right.
was like 12:45. TCB was playing. From the moment I walked in the door, I was like, what in the fuck? Like, that's not love. Like, this shit is not right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I walked in the club, everybody was like, hey, man, they was calling your name. Go play, go play. I walked up
Right.
there, Polo looked over, whoever they had playing, he said, give me the sticks. Man, they gave me the sticks. He went to the song. I knew every beat from start to finish. He played Make That Ass Clap, and it sounded exactly like Love. He turned around and stared, and then he looked at Ben and was like, yeah. And from that day forward, I was in the band. Like, from that day
Okay.
forward, he came to me, he was like, what you do besides play music? I
Mm-hmm.
was being an asshole. Like, yeah, I do X, Y, and Z. He was like,
Okay.
He's like, nigga, like, I ain't talking about that. Like, what talents you got? And I was like, look, well, I fucking ride dirt bikes and, you know what I'm saying? I play basketball. He like, man, I'm not talking about that shit, bro. Like, what else you do? I'm like, I make clothes. You know what I'm saying? I make clothes.
Right.
And he was like, well, I'm going to buy a store and you can show me how you make clothes. Bro, in 2 days, bro, he had a store.
Dang.
And
did he even see your clothes, or you
no,
just told him you make clothes? Okay.
no, bro. He didn't even see my clothes, Malachi. He bought the store, bro. He said, what kind of clothes you know how to make? Mind you, at this time, City Life and shit was out. So, like, we was doing designs for them, and we were doing designs for other lines behind closed doors, just like giving them designs and shit. So, I was doing it with shirt paint, you know what I'm saying? And that shit used to sell at one point with the glitter paint and all of that shit.
Yeah, I used
like,
to manage Algermani. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, I do this. He like, nigga, everybody do that shit. We can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know about vinyl and CAD cut? And I'm like, yeah.
Right.
I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah. So he takes me to Dave Hucks. You know what I'm saying? God and Heaven Graphics, Dave Hucks. He takes me to Dave Hucks. We get in there with Dave Hucks. Mind you, if you Polo's friend, you are Polo to them. So he's like, oh yeah, you know how to do it? Oh yeah, go get on the machine and go do it. Like whatever you wanted to do. Mind you, I never used this shit in my life. I learned it right then and there. He did a design. I watched him do it. And when it was my turn, I did it. He ordered every machine that he had. He put them all in the store. He bought me stacks of outfits. I got out of school every day. I went to the shop and I designed clothes and I ran and managed the store.
So you were doing this. So what's up, Chiefy? My man Chiefy from down Atlanta from Hucklebucks checking in on YouTube and Instagram.
Oh
Thank you, sir.
They used to be cranking. You know, we got the board. That's my band.
Well, you know, he got the go-go loops too. So he did a loop pack with all the go-go shit, so you can make beats with it and shit.
I want it. Tell him tap in.
Bet Chiefy, if you hear him, hit up Tony. Look at it. Look at his, because the IG that I put in the title is he bullied somebody, so they shut him down because he's a jerk. But his new Instagram, his other Instagram, or his new one is in the title on YouTube. So make sure you look on the YouTube. It's at do to TonyT. On IG, just hit him up and DM him, or just hit me and I'll put you in contact or whatever. But yeah,
we working on a project with that right now. I'm messing with the go-go beats, all go-go beats. So I definitely need that.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, it's dope. So what are you making the designs in, like Illustrator or something, and then you're doing the CAD cut, like where the plotter printer, like almost cuts out the design.
It was Illustrator and Photoshop at that time. You know what I'm saying? So you would Photoshop it and then take the silhouettes of it and then turn it to the vinyl cutter and do it like that.
Gotcha. You know gotcha. So how did you learn how to do that? You just taught yourself?
I taught myself. Mm-hmm. He did it right in front of me one time. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, and then I got it and I messed up like one shirt. And I was like scared to tell them that I messed up. And he looked over and was like, that's not a mistake. If you mess up a shirt that you're designing, that mistake is only to you.
Right.
If you add something to that mistake, it's a completion of the shirt. And I was like, what? And he came over there and put a star.
This was Dave saying this to you? Or this was Polo? Okay.
This was Dave. And he came over there and put a fucking star over the part that was fucked up. And everybody wanted this shirt with the star on it.
That's what's up.
It was a mistake.
Lemonade out of lemons. There you go. That's a strong lesson right there. That's
but Polo was a person that his attention span was like very short. So if he did something, he was on to the next thing. So we opened one store, and then he was like, "Yeah, well, I'm tired of this store, man. We about to open a bigger store, and I'm about to do this now and add this in here." So we opened another store on St. Barnabas Road, and we were doing ringtones. We were selling shoes, Jordans, clothes, and this store was like 2-3 times bigger than the first store. So he was like, "Look, you managing the store when you get out of school. You go there, you open the store, you run the register, and I be there in the evenings." And we did that for like 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying?
So you're still in high school at this point.
Yep.
Okay.
Shit was so crazy, Malachi. I actually stayed back my 12th grade year, right? And had to go back to school for like 2 extra credits. Simply because my 12th grade year, we was gigging so much that my teachers was cool with me going to go play and not coming to school, or coming to school and leaving a half a day to go play it. We were really somebody in school. Like our teachers 9 times out of 10 was talking to somebody in my band. You know what I'm saying? It was really that it was that serious. So it was like, "Oh, y'all play today, right? Yeah, we play a dumb ball. Oh, you can leave early." But the teacher that let me leave early made sure I passed. The teachers whose class I didn't go to was like, "Oh, hell no, he ain't here." You know what I'm saying? So it caught up to me in my last year. But I finished though.
Well, so let me ask you a question about Polo's priorities at this time. So, I mean, I would assume that anybody watching this right now knows who Polo is. Polo was a transformative figure in go-go history who, was TCB was the, I mean, there's, I guess, some contention around who actually invented it, whatever. I'm not even getting into all that, but definitely the prominent band that ushered the age of bounce beat into existence, regardless of whoever made it up. TCB was the forefront of that entire movement, and continues to be. So, but you're talking about a whole lot of stuff that he was doing, selling ringtones, doing, I know he had a barber shop, So my question is, was TCB just, and the music thing, just one part of all of these things that he was doing, or was TCB the primary thing that he was doing and everything else was just there to support it?
TCB was the primary thing that he was doing. And no, the barber shop was first, then TCB, and then it became TCB as a priority, then the barber shop, and then the clothing store. And from that, it was always like my phone will ring, and I'm in school, lunchtime. Hey, what's up? Shit was going on, food. Hey, man, what you think about this idea? I'm with whatever, because first of all, I'm proud to be in TCB at this time. I'm in school. When I come to school, like, I'm the man in school. Everybody talking about what y'all gonna play and what y'all did. Y'all looked sweet last night. Y'all was rocking. Like, that's what I'm just like in school. Like, the fuck. So whatever he talking about, I'm with it. He like, "Look, man, what you think about shooting this movie? Let's do it, man. Come up with a scene and a script. We could do it." Bet we all came up with pots. Everybody put their ideas together. Like, he was never one of those, "It's me, my way, or the highway." It's us at all times. Everybody input always counted. You know what I'm saying? So he was one of those people. Like, he did a rack of things at one time. He had the clothing store. He had the band. He had the barbershop. I started rapping. And they started managing me with the rap music. I started performing in the clubs. I was on the radios. Like, it really started picking up. But the thing was, at that time, it wasn't no outlet for us. So we was like in a big fish tank swimming in a circle. So, we was trying shit. And if it would have popped, we would have ran with it. It didn't pop. It didn't pop. After a certain point, we came back to go-go and started incorporating my rap with the go-go. And that's how we got Wale on Buffini and the things that we did. You know what I'm saying? Along that line, Holmes was just like, if the rap ain't gonna pop that way, we're gonna put the rap with the go-go, and we're gonna do it that way. We started bringing artists here. Like, he ain't know nothing about nobody outside of the city, artist wise. It was always me telling him who these people was and showing him that these the numbers that they got. People really listening to them. People find them, and he will bring them here.
Well, wait a second, because you mentioned something that I think we have to get into. It's on my list of questions to ask you because the world needs to know. What the fuck does Buffini mean?
To be loud and exotic, to live a loud exotic life, basically.
Okay, is it an acronym? Is it like the letters like are for each word,
Yeah,
or
when I turned it into clothes, it stands for be original or fail. I need to inspire.
okay? Be original or fail. I need to inspire.
Yeah, somebody made me make a stand for something when I turned it into clothes. So I did that for my LLC. But it really means the real term is for loud weed. So
Okay,
when your weed stinks, I said, man, that shit boof. It's boofing. I came
right,
up with that word. If somebody say it's boofing, I've been saying that. I created that term, that song been stamped. And when artists started using it, I was just so cool with it that I was like, oh man, they saying my word. I'm cool with it. So people just started losing context of it. But boofing, boofini, if you got it in the bag, that's a boof bag. Like I started saying those things, just having the lingo that I have been myself.
right,
But
for
now it's
sure.
copyright, so I'm on their ass.
There you go. Copyrighted, God damn it, Tony. Copyrighted.
I
That's
said
one.
copywritten.
I know it's not copywritten. It's copyrighted because it's
Write
a
it.
right. Write it. Yeah, RIGHTED.
Cool.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
say my
yeah.
shit, I'm on your ass, son. You can say it, but I'm on your ass. Don't sell no products. Don't sell no products.
Uh, I got you. I got you. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, so we've been in we're gonna get the clubhouse in a minute too, but we've been in a lot of rooms, and you have dropped a lot of jewels and a lot of lessons that you learned from Polo in your time with TCB. If you could come up with like the top 3, top 5 things that you learned from dealing with Polo, because he obviously was another luminous and transformative figure within the go-go genre, just like Chuck Brown. What would your top 3 to 5 things that you learned from Polo that you still use to this day? What would they be, you think?
If you want to get it, go get it. If you want to do it, just do it. And um, he always used to say, "Don't watch me, watch my moves." So he used to
Mm-hmm.
always have that motto, like, don't really worry about what people say. Just know that they watching. And if somebody talking about you, they only talking about you because you doing something right. And in order to talk about you, good or bad, they had to watch you.
Right.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
And that's just what it was. Holmes just I still till this day, I always say this, I'm an octopus in life. Like my hands and everything. That's how Holmes was. Like whatever I had an idea for, he never said no. I
Mm-hmm.
never heard him say no about nothing. He was like, man, what the fuck? All right. You know what I'm saying? Like he might laugh it off, but he gonna give it a try.
Right.
And that's how I am. Like I don't care how funny it is, how risky it is. I'm going to try it. Even if we got to be first to succeed at doing it, then I'm just with it. As long as it ain't nothing wild and crazy, man. Life threatening.
Right. Right. For sure. For sure. I wouldn't want to say what's up to my brother-in-law, Demond Stevens Youngin. Thank you for the compliment, sir. Tony is a good interview. He's a funny ass dude. One of the funniest guys I know.
Malachi,
Um,
I don't
yes,
do
sir.
these interviews, man. I real life been waiting on this interview, bro.
Well, I've been waiting on it too. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you doing it, man. So let's get into Clubhouse because this has been sort of brought us. I mean, we obviously knew each other, been friends before that, but kind of got to like back really rapping again on a regular basis. So tell me about Clubhouse and what your experience has been thus far and the creation of the DMV Lunchroom, etc.
All right,
Or tell the people, I should say.
so Clubhouse. I got introduced to Clubhouse The day when Wale was on Clubhouse and he was speaking about the Go album. I wasn't on it, but whatever he said, people felt as though I was supposed to hear about it. So I got introduced to Clubhouse. I got invited on it. I met Bird, who I already knew on a personal term, but didn't know who Bird was, like as far as the rap music. So so
So
um
I want to slow down a little bit because some people might not know what we're talking about. So let me say, so okay, so Clubhouse is a relatively new app. I think I've been on it since November. You came on, I think, in like December or something like that. My man, my man Amir from Interscope introduced me to it. It started in the tech world and then sort of moved to like a lot of people from different labels and the music industry, and now sort of opening up to a larger group. But basically, it's like a I mean, if you think of it like a
the old chat
virtual
line.
clubhouse, yeah, it's like a chat line, but through an app, and it's almost like a conference, like a panel conference where there's a certain group of people up on the stage speaking. There's a group below them that's like the front row that are people that or the VIP section that are people that the people on the stage follow. So presumably they have some knowledge of how things work as well. And then there's an audience below that, and the people on the stage can bring other people up on the stage just to speak on whatever topic it is.
Cyber
And
talk
there's
show.
yeah, exactly. So, so basically what happened was there was this room where Wale was in there and was talking about he's been talking about doing a go-go album for many, many years. It's never really materialized. And Bird is the young lady who runs Made in the DMV, which is a not only a club on Clubhouse but also a conference that she's been doing for a few years and a website, etc. She's got merch, all that kind of stuff, and she's sort of a pivotal figure in the DC or the DMV hip hop scene. She's just kind of a connector of sorts. She so what happened? So you got brought into that room because you have to be invited to Clubhouse, and especially back then. Like now, it's a little easier to get on there,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't just get on there if you don't know somebody. So somebody brought you into this specific
Wayne
room
Palmer,
from
Mochella, Don't Mute
Mochella. Yeah.
DC. Yeah, they brought me in and he basically hit me and he was like, "Look, bro, like I know the history. For those that don't know, I'm one of the co-writers on the song Bait with Wale. I'm in the music video with him. Work with him. Cool dude. We was friends at one point in time. We still cool. But business wasn't right on Go-Go's behalf, and it is what it is. I learned that now. But people was just misinformed on my feelings towards him and the whole situation. So when he said what he said or whatever, they invited me on there, and a lot of people was looking for the old me. You know what I'm saying? And the old energy. So a lot of people tuned in that night. I think it was like 2,500 people or some wild shit came in there, and everybody was expecting basically us to bump heads. Even him, he was kind of defensive at first, you know what I'm saying? But I really wasn't knowing that. Like, I really just wanted clarity, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we came on there, we talked about the situation, and I still till this day I feel as though Go doesn't have to go to another city and state to record a CD, you know what I'm saying? To record an album. Like, we talented, we got the multimedia studios here, we got the engineers here, we got the quality here. It's just about getting it done. You know what I'm saying? And I feel as though when people say like it can't get done because you can't fly a band to another city and state or whoop de whoop, you for one, you don't give the people here who really got the quality and product to make it happen their props. And for two, you just make other people don't want to even come here to see if we even got those resources to really make it happen in my eyes.
Well, let
And
me play devil's advocate for 1 second. So if I am Wale, right? And I
mm-hmm.
don't want to get too far into this because I don't do the controversy shit. That's not what this show is
No,
about. I'm
no,
not trying to.
we
Yeah,
passed that though. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So if this is important for what the purpose of the show is, which is the whole reason I do this show, is to connect the dots between how go-go works and how the rest of the industry works. And that's why I bring on people from the industry, and I bring on people from go-go, and I bring on people that have had access to,
Facts.
information or things in both, because my personal view, which is not the view of everybody, and I understand and respect that, but my personal view or my personal goal is for go-go to headline festivals all over the world and to be bigger than just DC. And I understand some people would like for it to stay our own special thing, and I respect that. That's just not my opinion, but I also don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. I think that Rare Essence can still play at the Aqua every Friday night, and there can be another band touring Europe at the same time. I don't think one has to not exist because the other one does. So starting from that premise, I would just play devil's advocate and say I'm Wale, and he's been recording in LA for the last 3-4 years. So he's built up his relationships here. He's built up the people that he's comfortable with. I will tell you, I record in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, all the Marvel Saw stuff that was recorded, we didn't record that in DC or PG County or any of those studios because I wasn't able to find a studio. Now, granted, I also have a personal relationship with the guy that runs the studio because we went to high school together. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, it's about those relationships and about who you're comfortable with working with. And I can, on some level, understand Wale's concern
Me too.
that like I don't know, I can't really tell you a go-go record that has come out within the last 10 years, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there are some, but I'm just speaking off the cuff here, that has been released, recorded and mixed and mastered at the quality level of a major label release. I can't really put my finger on one. I'm not saying that there isn't one, I'm just saying I can't say one. So, and a lot of that does have to do with the studio and the way that the process is done. Because I mean, I don't know how credible it is, but I heard that, a band who shall remain nameless was out here in LA and went to record with Wale, and it didn't work because they just weren't. There's a difference in recording at, and I don't mean any disrespect to Rio, because that is my man and my mentor, and I've learned a whole lot from him, and he gave me my shot, and he was the one that told me or gave me the end with Northeast Groovers. So this is no shade to him at all. But there's a difference in the process of recording at Rio's than there is at the process of recording at a studio where major label records are done. I remember that, Eric from UCB, who's a good friend of mine, who's in the band with Wale, or in Wale's band, told me multiple stories of when Wale and Lady Gaga were doing the song early on. They recorded that hook, just the hook, 40 times, 40 times to get it right. Where that's not what typically happens in a studio. And that's not no shade to go-go musicians or really any shade to go-go studios either. It's just it's not, one's not bad and one's not good. It's just different. And so I think maybe that's where he was coming from with that
Nah, but this
statement,
my
is that,
thing.
yeah,
When I be speaking on studios, bro, it's studio.
right,
Rio Studio is not one of those studios of quality. Rio Studio is an
right,
asset to Go and helps Go. I'd have been to
yeah,
so many other studios that don't have the name
right,
because people don't tell people about them. But they got these. One is a studio right now has been out for like 14 years.
mm-hmm,
They got like $600,000 in technology in it, the live shit and all of that. But the bands that be in it don't be go-go bands because they choose to go to the Rios and they choose to go to because it's cheaper. They don't want to pay these people. But I
yeah,
have been in there and seen these. I have went in there and recorded tracks for people and like, oh, this studio here and like this is real top quality studio, so it's here. But again, on the flip side with that, um what I really was getting at too is if we got a call to deal with a mob, anybody in Go that said Wale or any artist, CeeLo, Snoop Dogg, whoever, need the band to come fly to LA to record. We don't need nobody pay for that, but that's an opportunity that Go waiting on, bro. They gonna find
right,
a way to get there. If we
right.
found a way, if TCB found a way to take themselves to LA on tour out of their own pockets, you think they not gonna go out of their own pockets to do a project? It's about knocking on the door and presenting the opportunity before assuming that somebody not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and
right.
It's not him. That's just people, period, about go-go. They feel like people in go-go, oh, they gonna want an arm and a leg. No, a lot of people in go-go don't want an arm and a leg. A lot of people just want the opportunity, bro. And that been
Right.
took advantage of a lot. So a lot of people want their money now. You know what I'm saying? You live and you learn.
Well, a lot of, I mean, I've heard. So I don't know what happened with the pretty girl situation, but or the any of those situations. But what I will say is, I mean, I've heard from different people, but the stories are different from different people that you hear from. Because
Same with me.
unless you're talking, unless you're talking to the unless you're talking to the people that were actually there, which presumably I was, but I would not disagree with you in that maybe there should be more of an effort on a Wale or whoever's part to do a little bit more due diligence to find out if there are people in GoGo that are willing to make those sacrifices. However, again, in their defense, and this all goes into the purpose of the show of how the GoGo world works differently than the rest of the industry. It is also incumbent upon us in GoGo to not give people that impression, because I'm going to tell you that is the impression, and it's not even just the impression, it's the truth in a lot of cases. I'm going to tell you, I run a booking agency, right? I book a lot of artists in other genres of music all over the world, right? I have an artist who had 100 million streams on Spotify last year. He's hit iTunes #1 iTunes chart 4 times this year, 4 Billboard singles this year. Is willing to go do shows for less than, let me say, less upfront, not less period, because that's one thing that GoGo doesn't do. Is GoGo typically does what we call flat deals, which means you pay me this much money to play. I don't care
how
how
many
many
people
people show up.
80,000, I don't care.
Right, exactly. Which that's a difference between the way GoGo works and the way the rest of the music industry works. The rest of the music industry works is, and I'm not saying that those flat deals don't happen at all. In other genres, they do, but primarily you come in with a lower guarantee and you get more money based upon how many tickets are sold. But I understand the reason why GoGo doesn't do that. And the reason why GoGo doesn't do that is because the history of GoGo has been littered with, and this is not to shit on promoters, because they're not all promoters are this way, but it's been littered with a lot of promoters who you can't count on you can barely even count on getting your money at all, much less getting more money because you sold more tickets. Now, but that is a different situation when you're dealing with a Live Nation or an AEG or somebody, or even a smaller, like a Daryl Brooks or somebody, you know what I mean? Like, but somebody that's a concert promoter for a living, not somebody that is a hustler or has works for the government or whatever and just does this shit on the weekend. And that's not the shit on any of that, because I've dealt with drug dealers who've done great business. I've done with part-time promoters who've done great business. But the lion's share of those guys are looking for that quick money. They're not looking to build a long-term relationship. They're not understanding that if I fuck this band over this time, they're not going to want to play with me again. You know what I'm saying? So, right. So back to the sort of the Wale thing and the Snoop or CeeLo thing. Like it's, and I heard a story about when CeeLo came that he was surprised that some of the bands that he worked with didn't have their PRO, their ASCAP, their BMI shit together, which admittedly is a complicated thing. I'm a fairly educated person when it comes to the music industry, but publishing and all that shit drives me nuts. That's why I deal with booking, because it's easier. I book you a show, I get my 15%. See you later. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about all that other shit. So understandably, it's a complicated thing. However, it is something that we need to figure out. And some of the top bands have figured it out, and that's for sure. But all I'm saying is that on the whole, the impression that Go-Go gives to the greater music industry is that we are not educated on how the greater music industry works, even though there's plenty of information out there, especially now, especially within the last 10 years or so. You can Google any of this shit. And so we're not educated on how it works. And the one thing we don't understand is that the demand for our bands in DC does not translate outside of DC to the people in those markets. And I want to explain what I mean by that. And I've said this a bunch of times. And this is, again, in no way to talk down on or anybody that does shows out of town, like the Miami Takeover or anything like that. Wiley is my man, and he's always does good business, and I think what he's doing is fucking great. But understand that the Miami Takeover, which is primarily a bunch of DC people going to Miami to see the same bands that they see in DC, is not the same thing as building a touring fan base in Miami. Now, I'm not saying that he's not doing any of that or that some of those bands aren't doing any of that, but what I'm saying is it's a distinct difference from a rock band or a funk or a soul band saying, hey, we're going to go take this L to go play in Miami because nobody in Miami knows who we are. We're going to play for 10 people until we build those 10 people into 100 and build those 100 into 1,000 and build those 1,000 into 5,000. That's what touring bands in other genres of music do. Now, what I'm hearing you say,
don't even want to take a risk to be able to take the L.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that they expect that if I can get $5,000 in DC, then if you want me to come play in California, then I need 10,000 because I got to pay for flights and all that shit like that. And the thing that doesn't seem to register is that if I'm a promoter in California, I don't give a fuck how much it costs you to get out here. That's not my problem. How many tickets can you sell? The goal of a promoter is to sell more tickets than the amount of money that I had to pay the band, the sound, the security, all the stuff you were describing earlier at the Boys and Girls Club, all of these expenses that I have to do. I'm not doing this because I love your band. I might love your band, but I'm not losing thousands of dollars just because I love your band. You got to show me that you can sell tickets in this market. And part of the problem with Go-Go building a demand in other markets is that we don't put out enough music that appeals to people in other markets. We keep putting out music that appeals to the people in DC, and then we are upset that the people in Pittsburgh don't understand it and aren't going to pay us enough money to come play in Pittsburgh. So while I do agree with you that maybe some more outreach could be made from, I Wale's first single was a sample of my old band, Northeast Groovers. You know what I'm saying? So I sort of kind of understand why some people feel like maybe he owes Go-Go something to a certain extent.
It's not an old thing to me. But, I don't feel that way. I don't want nobody to feel like he owe anybody anything. And I'm one of the people who he made promises to with Polo. You know what I'm saying? He don't owe nobody nothing. I just feel as though when Go-Go is about a bond, period. And Go-Go, to everybody in the world, we see the crowd in Go-Go more than we see most of our family members. Go-Go is probably the only genre where we can see the same people more than 4 times a week doing the same thing, playing the same music on the same stage weekly. And I'm talking about we see these people so much that they feel like they really know us. You know what I'm saying? Yep. They can walk up and give us a hug. They could walk up and give us a five. They could walk up and hold the conversation. Any one of these 500 to 1,000 random people every event. You know what I'm saying? So it's about a bond. So I was one of those people who was around when Wale was somebody that nobody knew, and he was coming in, dapping me up like, hey, ask Polo, can I get the mic? So a part of that is establishing a bond as a person.
Right.
Mind you, I knew him when he wasn't nobody, so I never wanted nothing from him. I actually
Right.
believed in his talent till Polo,
Right.
hey, give him the mic. And when he did it, we was cool from that day forward. So when it
Right.
came back around to, hey, I got this idea that the song that y'all already got, make X, Y, and Z happen, cool. I made it happen, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the
Right.
difference is, me as a person, Malachi, if I come to you and I say, Malachi, can I need you to do X, Y, and Z for me. That's cool. I just need you to do X, Y, and Z. But if I say, Malachi, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, and in return, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. That moment makes the whole situation a different situation because I told you in return, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. The moment that I don't do X, Y, and Z, I no longer am a man with a bond in the go-go
Mm-hmm.
world because that's what we stand on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go-go never moved on contracts. We moved on. If I shake your fucking hand, look in your eyes, word is bond. That's what it was. So now that you did X, Y, and Z and you made it to the bigger platform where contracts is needed, it's kind of a slap in the face to look back down on Gogo and say, y'all ain't had no contracts. You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of
Right.
people in Gogo looked at shit, which I
Right.
now understand what Wale went through and why he did what he
Mm-hmm.
did. I understand that. So it's no hard feelings. But everybody else, not me. Motherfuckers is
Right.
still on the outside looking in. Even the fans, like the thing that got him through the door, he no longer do no more. You know what I'm saying? People would
Right.
kill right now for a Wale Go-Go song, bro. Let's be real.
Right.
Instead, you got Yellow Beezy and all these people who I told y'all didn't know nothing about what they was rapping on, and people said I didn't know what I was talking about, and they turned right around and said they didn't even know they was rapping on Go-Go. That's a
Right.
problem for Go-Go. When people are
Right.
rapping on our music and don't know what they rapping on, where it came from, who the band is,
To
none of
build.
that. Because on the flip side, when we play people's songs, we know everything about them. We make these
Right.
songs, we make Go-Go makes these artists hot in DC when they don't be hot here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But okay. So how can we? So there's a lot to unpack there because you went through a lot of things. So I think you're absolutely right. And first, I don't want to misconstrue what I'm saying either. I'm not saying that Wale owes Go anything either to a certain extent, really. But what I'm saying is I do think that he's in a position to
Kick a door
a
open.
slightly less of a position now than he was in the past to help go further. But my contention is we're not even meeting him halfway. I'm not saying you per se. I'm just saying go in general. You know what I'm saying? I think because to clarify also, a lot of things that you said make a lot of sense to me. Like you mentioned that Polo and TCB, even post Polo, have always been willing to reinvest in themselves. Like I came to see him out here. You know what I'm saying? Like Rome asked me to help him try to find a venue out here. I wasn't able to because I had a lot of shit going on myself. But the fact that the band is willing to invest in themselves to, to build up markets in other places is says a lot. However, I think that we have to do it with a little bit more intention rather than just being like, hey, it'd be cool to, and this is not a shot at TCB. I'm not even just talking about them. I'm just saying in general. Like we have to say, oh, well, I want to play in, and this is not exclusive to go-go. This is any genre. Oh, I want to play in New York. I want to play in Miami. I want to play in LA. Everybody wants to play where it's fancy, but you need to play where you can build a fan base and build, continue to cycle that shit up. You know what I'm saying? But back to the Wale thing, I think that we need to really, I understand where you're coming from with the fact that GoGo has not operated off of contracts and tax IDs and EINs and LLCs for all of this time, but we fucking need to. And we need to get that shit together. And 40 fucking years of this genre of saying, oh, well, that's not how we do it here. That to me, that's a lot of the problem. Oh, well, this is just go-go. And I get pissed when people have like a side project, like so you're in a go-go band, and this is not directed towards you, even though it sounded like you were doing this, like when it's like, because I don't think you were coming at it from this perspective. But people be like, well, I'm really working on my hip hop or my R&B project. I'm just playing it go-go just to make a couple dollars. But really, I'm doing this other thing. I'm like, if you just took the fucking energy and money that you were spending on this R&B song that sounds the same as every fucking other R&B song ever released in the history of life and put it towards making a better go-go record that really has never really had that much of an international impact, you would have much more success. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing something that you're in your own lane. But there's so many emotions and stories that have been told wrong about how the industry really works. And just to give a quick example, which I've said on this before, but there's a couple of things that I learned just through doing this interview series that I never knew, which really were informative for me. So Gogo has or at least as long as I've been in it, it's sort of changing now, but has had this impression that somehow all we got to do is crank in these clubs, and some magic A&R person is going to come down from New York or LA or something and press a success button and turn us into Beyonce. And that, first of all, that has never, I'm telling the truth.
That's only because that happened to Junkyard that one fucking time.
Well, that's what I was about to say, because because not even just Junkyard, but EU also. What I learned when I interviewed Charles Stevenson, who was managing EU at the time, everybody knows about Spike Lee and School Days. But what I didn't realize was that the reason that EU was performing at the 930 Club for Spike Lee's birthday party was because they just were a hot local cover go-go band that was so hot that Seth Hurwitz, who owns IMP in the 930 Club, said, this is the band I'm going to hire because Spike Lee's having his birthday party here. It wasn't, Spike Lee didn't ask for EU. The local club owner said, this is a hot band right now. Right, this is who's hot right now. We're going to put him in there. And Spike Lee was so blown away, as everybody is who's never experienced go-go before, that he said, I want to do this. And when I interviewed Wink, just like you said, Rick Rubin came down with this other guy that was coming down every weekend watching Junkyard play on the street corner. And Rick Rubin was, of course, Russell Simmons' partner and the creative force.
So they was about to go in the club, right?
No, well, yeah, they were about to go. Well, so the way Wink told it was there was this guy, a Jewish dude that used to come. There was like a club across the street from where they played, where all the industry people would come down when they would come from New York. And this one dude kept coming down every week, and he would always stop and come see him play. And one week he came down and he had Rick Rubin with him, and that's when Rick Rubin saw him and was like, "Yo, this is the best shit I've ever heard. Let me take you to the studio." And that's when they did Sardines and The Word. So if you look at the sum total of all of the go-go bands that have had success outside of the DC area, which is Trouble Funk, EU, Rare Essence, Junkyard, Mambo Sauce, whoever, like 2 out of like 7 bands, that's a big ass percentage of the whole entire genre of music that just so happened to get lucky and have lightning strike where somebody was like, I'm going to press a success button and you're going to get signed to this record label. So now that made me understand why we tell that story in go-go, why we think that somebody's just going to fall out of the sky and make us successful, because 2 out of the 7, and I'm just using 7, that's probably not the right number, but a large percentage of the go-go bands that have had success on a national and international level, that's how it happened. So now I understand why people think that. But if you are, which you are too, because these other artists from out of town, and I'm a student of the game in the music business and have been for a long time, understand that is literally like lightning striking twice. That's not how things work in the music business. You have to build up.
Polo knew that, bro. That's why Polo mindset was, we don't need a label to consign us. We can do label things. He shot a movie. We had 14 karat diamond chains, $9,000-$10,000 chains for all his band members. You get what I'm saying? We had the latest cars. Niggas stayed in the latest clothes. He had the industry mindset already. You know what I'm saying? He said we shot commercials. TCB shot a video for Lay Your Head on My Pillow. It was basically a controversial soft porn. The man said that he was thinking it was gonna make people talk and go viral, and it fucking went viral. We was on all the blogs. It damn near made like a news blog out of town because they was like, "What in the fuck is this? And what is this sound that we hear?" But they was hearing the Lay Your Head on My Pillow song, but they were like, "What is this sound?" And then they found out what Gogo was, but so it was all a win for him.
What's up? We got my man Chino and my man Conan, radio legends over here on Instagram. Fellas, I got the you can hear the other side of the conversation on youtube.com/Gogotalx because I got my earphones in, so you can only hear my ass blabbering on Instagram, but you can hear Tony on the other side and see Tony as well. Since he got his fancy ring light, like he got the whole setup and everything. He bought a whole setup just to do this interview. I appreciate you, sir. You're the man.
I'm glowing and shit like ET.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. You like ET. I told you, Tony Spielberg. There you go. We talking about movies and everything. I don't know. Maybe that's a sign. We need to make another. Somebody needs to make another Go-Go movie.
I'm with it. So, if somebody out there trying to do it, I'm trying to shoot a movie. Tap in. Weez passed away. That was my man. God rest his soul, man. Weez. We was actually about to shoot something else, and he passed away. So, you know what I'm saying? I definitely got some ideas, man.
That's what's up. Well, the good news is it's way easier and cheaper to make quality, quality film stuff these days than it was back then. You know what I mean? But so I do want to touch a little bit. Yeah, exactly, 100%. I do want to touch on a little bit because you said that Polo had the industry mindset. I do want to touch on a little bit why you think that it still never really, because I have a theory, not based upon TCB, just based upon Gogo as a whole. And this goes back to the Wale and wanting to record at a certain studio thing. We have not figured out how to consistently create a sonically palatable form of go-go that is sonically palatable to people that didn't grow up with the sound or haven't already experienced it live. I hated go-go until I went to one. I didn't get into go-go until I was 15. I heard it and I was like, I don't even understand. Why is the guy talking over top of the song? Who the fuck is he talking to? I don't get it. Why they banging on shit, whatever. I totally didn't get it until I went to one. And then I was like, this is the best shit I've ever seen in my life. And now my whole rest of my life has revolved around it. But there's a disconnect between how we are able to convey the power of go-go on record versus how we are able to convey the power of go-go on the stage. And that's one of the things I talked to White Boy about when he was on here, which we need to get into that too, because obviously now you're playing with Rare Essence. I Kill Switch, my man Killer Cal just joined on Instagram too. Everybody's coming on Instagram. Maybe I need to bring it back on Instagram. But head over to YouTube, bro. That's where it's at. YouTube.com/Gogotalx. But we haven't been able to really figure that part out. That's how every other genre of music builds demand for their live show in other markets outside of their own, is by preceding their visit to that market with a record, a sound, a video. Go ahead.
I think Polo had found the formula, and I still till this day, it's the formula that's going to make go-go pop. The thing about it, Malachi, is we have a crab in a barrel mentality city. Instead of everybody saying, oh shit, a go-go music video and pushing it, everybody was like, oh shit, what the fuck? They shot a music video for a go-go song? They didn't want to be first to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Not the first to do a video because we wasn't the first to do a video. We were first to do something different at this time that we did it with a video, and that was cover tune someone else's song, go bounce it down, and put a video to it with a whole acted out skit. You get what I'm saying? So we was the first to make that happen, and it was more so people was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Versus someone on it. It was more so what the fuck versus oh shit, that's different. Let's push it. And Polo, I gave him this idea. I said, bro, every artist that's hot right now, we need to bounce their song down, do the go-go version of it, sample it or whatever your swag is, give it to me. At this time, we was heavy on like Twitter and MySpace. Give me the shit. I'm gonna send it to them, and we gonna get them to come. Long story short, it got Soldier Boy here, it got CeeLo Green here. Jim Jones wanted to sign TCB on my life for balling. You can pull it up right now on YouTube. Jim Jones wanted to sign TCB for balling. He asked for a press. He asked for a press kit and some other shit, and we did not have that shit, bro. And we did not know nothing about it, bro. And the fucked up thing about it was people in Go-Go who knew about that shit and didn't tell a man who all you had to do was tell him one fucking time about it, and he would have got it done. The day that they told him, the next morning we had that shit because he ain't know nothing about it. You get what I'm saying? And people knew that all you had to do was tell him, and he was going to go do it. Period. He would no questions asked. We need a what? He's going to go get it just in case somebody asks about it. We're going to get it because when that happened and Holmes asked for that and we didn't have it and the opportunity left, we had it the next morning. It was too late. He wasn't there no more. You can send it to him all day. He ain't got that same energy. He had that energy because, for one, when Jim Jones came, he didn't want to come on the stage while the whole band was on the stage. First of all, you're not coming into Washington, D.C. and putting no go-go band off the stage. If you're an artist and you're looking at this, you better hear me out. It's not going to happen. You can come and clear the stage and tell the band you don't want them on the stage so you can perform. The crowd is going to give you their ass to kiss, for one, because you kicked Go-Go off the stage. And that's basically what happened. He was like, I ain't comfortable. People need to move so we could come up there. Long story short, an hour went by. Came to an agreement. The band stays on stage, perform. We big here like you big here. He performed. He ended up playing with the band. And when the bounce beat came in on balling, the fucking song stopped. And Jim Jones was like, what the fuck? Like, so this is how y'all do it here in DC? Oh, no, we need to talk. And we just didn't have what we needed to have.
Okay, so on that note, so I'm of a little bit of a different opinion than you are on this topic, that somebody needs to tell somebody what else they need to do. Because first of all, I know about it. I knew Polo. He used to come see Northeast all the time. But I never even would have even thought to say, Polo, you need a press kit, because I would just assume he already knew. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't think to just say that. You know what I mean? So, but also
at this time, I don't even at this time, and I'm not just jumping them out there because they business is superb. But I don't even think Backyard and everybody else had their shit together because the opportunity had came for numerous of us, and everybody was saying this same type of shit that we didn't have. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was all the way down to the ASCAP and the spins and the publishing and shit, we just didn't have it. And the thing was, Malachi, we was living and learning. And that's what Go-Go has been since I ever been in it. Every day I wake up, I learn something new about Go-Go. I learned something new about Go-Go in this interview. But I don't walk around like I know everything so I can leave space to learn. That's what a lot of people do in Go-Go. They think they know everything.
Nah, that's why I have a lot of respect for you. I respect the fact that you have your opinions, you stand strong in your opinions, but you also are willing to say, to take new. It's like our friend Joe Jackson is the same way. He's he's a little more egregious than you are with being loud and out there and saying controversial things and stuff like that. But both of y'all, and I hope I am as well, are willing to say, oh, I didn't know that, and change your approach to something based upon new information. You know what I'm saying? Which is an important quality, I think, that is necessary for success, because you can't just think you know everything and operate on thinking that you know everything, because nobody knows everything. I would venture to say I probably know more about how the real music business works than almost anybody in go-go. But I know that still means that I don't know shit. I still got a lot to learn. You know what I mean? And so I think if we all try to take a little more of that approach, we would be further along. But also,
that's what we
back to
did
your
in the
point.
lunchroom. I think that's what became common goal in the lunchroom.
Yeah, so that's a good segue into that. So we started with this whole conversation and went off on a tangent. But so you got on Clubhouse, this Wale situation, you guys sort of hashed it out. I heard part of that conversation. You hashed it out, and then from that
The next
room
day,
with Wale, the next day,
I was like, you know what, Clubhouse was cool. You know what I'm saying? I went outside, everybody was talking about, oh shit, man, woody whoop. It's cool. Energy, I feel better. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it. He cool peoples, he want to work. I'm willing to work. Cool. Next day I get on Clubhouse. I'm like, they gave me the vibes of a lunchroom. You know what I'm saying? Like in school, like controversy in the lunchroom. So I made a room and it was called Lunchroom DMV. And everybody was like, you know, fuck, they came back in it the next day. It was popping. And the next day after that, I was like, man, Lunchroom DMV, Lunchroom DMV. And then they said, man, it should be called the DMV Lunchroom. And from that day forward, whenever I post that, everyone came in there, and then you came in, and we had Easy Tommy and everybody that meant something to Washington, D.C., long story short, to the DMV. Everybody that meant something to the DMV at one point in time, or still right now, ended up in this room. And we ended up getting the greenhouse on Clubhouse. And it just been popping from there. We done put together a project that consists of us introducing DMV artists, clothing ambassadors, clothing brand owners, makeup artists, dancers, choreographers, videographers, all together to put our music and our talent out to the world. And that's what we've been trying to do.
And it's dope. It's a dope room. I want to address something real quick, because Gospel Gogo 411, I don't know if that's Delano or DK, but he said, yo, you should do a Gogo music conference and give the classes to spread the knowledge. And here and people have said that to me a lot. And somebody else earlier said, you know, that I should teach a course or whatever. And I appreciate it. I honestly don't feel like I'm qualified enough to do that. But the other problem is this. I've done almost, I think it's more than 80 of these joints so far, right? The white boy one was the one that got watched the most, but most of them still only get like 150, 200, maybe, you know, 300-400 views, and it's free. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this is. That's what this whole series is a series of conversations with people that are smarter than me, giving the knowledge about how this shit works. And people still, it's still not a mass of people watching it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's the problem, is that even when the information is presented for free, people still don't go get it. Like, it's literally a Google search away now. It's not, you know, like I had Black Bull on here 2 weeks ago. And I was talking about when I was about to put out Miracles for Marvel Sauce. There was no TuneCore or DistroKid or CD Baby. I mean, I think CD Baby was out, but it wasn't doing iTunes stuff. It was just
DistroKid changed my life, man.
Yeah. But I'm saying I had to read a book, like a print off a book off the internet that was like this thick, about how to try to get your shit on iTunes. Like this thick now. And I mean, luckily, before I could even get through the book, TuneCore came out, and I was able to do it through TuneCore. But my point is that it's significantly easier to get knowledge of how this shit works now than it was back then. and even how it works. And you have to, because even if I gave a conference today, in 6 months, everything that I said is probably going to be different, because that's how fast technology is moving. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay on top of that shit. And so my thing is that I just feel like Gogo needs to take a little bit more initiative. Gogo as a whole needs to take a little bit more initiative to learn about how these things work, so that, just like you were just explaining with the Jim Jones thing, you have, because this happened to us too. This actually was part of the origin story of Mambo Song. So I left solo. So you remember Northeast Groovers, rapper left, ended up going to 911. We had solo, right? We brought the guy General Lee in, who was the rapper in my old band, uh, Occupation, from Annapolis. We brought him in. He was with Northeast Groovers for a while. This is right when Grown and Sexy was getting started. We had solo. Chi Ali and Lee both auditioned for Northeast Groovers. We picked Lee just because he had more height. You know what I'm saying? Chi Ali was a little bit more stiff. But when we did solo, it was more Grown and Sexy, and Chi Ali made more sense for that. So then they made me fire Lee from solo, and because that was my man, and we went with Chi Ali for solo, but we still had Northeast Groovers. It was supposed to be both bands going at the same time, and so they got Chi Ali for solo, whatever. And then I was like, I don't want to play in a cover band. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. I don't want to play in a straight cover band. So I moved to Vegas, and then I moved to LA. I don't remember if I was in LA or if I was in Vegas, but I had been talking the whole time with solo before we really decided that we were going to be a straight up cover band. I was like, yo, we need to do some original shit. We need to like write our own music. Keep in mind, at the time, solo was the same band as Northeast Groovers, just with a different lead rapper.
That fucking make the ladies just go down low. A nigga couldn't tell me in a million years that wasn't a rapper, bro. Until I met P.R.Lee and seen y'all in person, I was like,
yeah.
he lived right across the street from me at that time. I was like, what? My neighbor?
Yeah, but I didn't want to be in a cover band. I was like, yo, Maestro was the keyboard player at the time. Hug was the singer. Both of them went on to write songs for Keisha Cole, Jennifer Lopez, all types of artists, Maya, whoever. Keyboard Chris, that was in Northeast Groovers and Mambo Sauce, and my old band Occupation also went on to be Grammy nominated for a track that he did for Jeezy and T.I. And I was in the band. I co-wrote with Chris and the rest of the band, Welcome to DC and Miracles and all that. That's me playing guitar on both of those songs. And there's somebody else who I'm leaving out. Basically, the moral of the story is we had songwriters in the band, yet the go-go mentality to play every week and get this little bit of money is so strong that we said, instead of leveraging the power of these songwriters that are in this band who can write for national artists, we decided to just play cover songs. So I left. I went to Vegas. Later on down the road, I know I'm taking a long time to tell this story, but later on down the road, Dig Dug called me. Dig Dug was my man. That's one of my closest friends, right? He was the manager of Solo, and I think it they might have switched back to Northeast Groovers by this time. But they had an opportunity with Rock Music, which was the sort of left field label side of Rockefeller Music, which was at the time run by Kenny Burns, who was one of the guys that developed Wale into what he is now. And so, yeah, I think it was. So I went through that whole solo story for nothing. Sorry, but so it was Northeast Groovers again by this time. Northeast Groovers had an opportunity to do something with Rock Music, but in the same way that TCB didn't have a press kit, Northeast Groovers, I don't even know what it was, but Dig Dug just called me drunk as shit at like 3 o'clock in the morning one time when I was either in LA or Vegas, and was like, man, I see what you was talking about this whole time. We had an opportunity to do something with Rock Music, and somebody didn't send the right type of file or something they didn't do right that made them lose the opportunity. And hearing him say that after I had been arguing with him for 2 years about whether we should play go-go or play cover songs or not, made me, that's what started me down the road to move back home and start Mambo songs. You know what I'm saying? So that's two examples of prominent bands in go-go missing an opportunity to do something bigger because they didn't have their shit together. And what I'm saying is at that time, there was a little bit more of an excuse to not have your shit together because the internet wasn't what it is today. It existed, but it wasn't like you could just Google any fucking thing you want to Google to find out how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Where now you can. So the excuse for go-go bands to not have their shit together wasn't even a good excuse back
It's
then,
not
but
even
it's
an
definitely not
excuse.
a good
It's
excuse
what
right
to
now.
have, Malachi. Like this, my thing. It
But you
is
can
a
find that out. That's what I'm saying.
is an excuse for them to not have it once they know what to have. But how? What would we Google to have? Like what would we Google to find out what we need? You get what I'm saying? Until the opportunity come and they say you need X, Y, and Z because a press kit might what Jim Jones needed, but label might need your fucking masters and shit like that. Go for the most part at that time didn't even have a masters for real. You know what I'm saying? Because I found out later on down the line that Al Winky had all TCB masters. You get what I'm saying? And I found that out as I got closer and closer and tighter with business in the band to find out that the whole time, like, they didn't even know this shit. You know what I'm saying? We was playing and shit was on streaming platforms and it was registered to him. You know what I'm saying? And it was really nothing they could do at that time because he really had their masters. So it was a learning experience again as time was progressing. You get what I'm saying? But nobody still didn't know that you need a press kit until Jim Jones asked for it. We went and got one. But that's not to say that somebody else was gonna come and ask for something else.
Well, I can give some insight into that. Basically, if go-go wants to be bigger than what it is now, then stop looking at what go-go does and has done for the last 40 years and start looking at what other artists in other successful genres of music do and how they operate, because there is that you can Google, how do I get signed to a record label, how do I get a booking agent, how do I get a manager, how do I, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of that information out there, way more so in the last 5 years than there ever has been. And that's not to say you sort of have to be able to filter some of that information to say, well, that might make sense for me, but that might not make sense for me. Well, this makes sense for me, but that might not make sense for me. The one thing I will say is that it's not going to solve the master problem, but also understand that if you are an artist and you write a song, the moment that you record that song to a medium, that is the master that you own, and you own it until you sign it away to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But it is your job to make sure that you keep it. You know what I'm saying? And I mean physically keep, like in the case of Al.
It was one of those
Al,
situations where you out sound man, so hey Al, mix that CD and just give me the copy. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Not
right,
knowing that
but
at that
understand
time
that just
he was learning the internet and he was doing what he was doing. And on the flip side, it was a Mal, your CD on such and such site, you could promote it. You was sites that your shit was on the internet now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So you was promoting that, knowing the back ends of it. You know what I'm saying? So Gogo was still
right,
learning.
right, for
What
sure.
he was doing wasn't
And what's
wrong though. You know what I'm saying? It really was helping us, but again, business wasn't in order. So you live and you learn.
right, for sure. And I understand that, and I'm definitely not pointing the finger because I haven't done shit. I did a lot of dumb shit that I didn't know how to do or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is that as if we want to take go-go to the next level, we have to make an effort to learn how to do that shit, and also learn it in the context of what we're trying to do. Like that's like I think part of the problem is we need to define what the goal is. You know what I'm saying? If your goal is just to play at the Aqua every, or Power, through 3 times a week, you don't really need to worry about that shit. And there's nothing wrong with having that goal. I'm not shitting on that goal. I'm not shitting on local go-go bands. I'm not shitting on any of that, because you and I both know that TCB used to make so much money at the fucking CFE that it would make like some of the most successful rappers like, well, goddamn, y'all really doing it. You know what I'm saying? But also, I do want to sort of dispel some of the mythology around that, because and TCB is a bit of a different case. But I booked almost, I never booked TCB, but I booked almost every other go-go band in existence, and that's in existence today, at least the older bands. You know what I'm saying? And I've also booked a lot of national artists, and I would tell you that the money is not even close to the same. And so what I'm saying is that there is a lot more room for go-go to grow from a live perspective, but you're in a broader geographic region. But that's only going to happen if you focus on the content that's going to build the demand in these other markets. And I'm happy to see that some band, like Sirius Company just put out a new song, a new video. They've been putting out songs and videos. You know what I'm saying? Out TCB, I talk to Cannon all the time. I mean, they're more doing like the PA tape stuff, but I know they are in the work, and they put out a few singles. I can see that bands are starting to wake up to
We
the
gotta make
streaming,
originality cool again in go-go. When we came up, Malachi, in the 90s, you had the put your one leg up, put your booty on the floor, Run Joe.
Well, Run Joe's a cover, just so you know.
No, I'm just saying, like,
right.
It was a cover. A lot of Chuck Brown shit was covers, but to us, we didn't know that until we got older. You get what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know that, but those was the things that was being played. So to us, it made us want to make our own songs. You get what I'm saying? Like, what the radios played was original go-go songs. The 1580 go-go and all of that, it was original go-go songs. It really wasn't covers for real. You know what I'm saying? If it was covers, it was like I Got 5 on it. Who was that? Backyard? It was like I Got 5 on it and or some shit like that. But it really wasn't a lot of go-go cover songs being played on the radio. So it made the bands feel like in order for us to get on the radio, we have to play original songs. Now today, the DJs have told the bands, and I have been around, that y'all have to play something that is in tune enough for us to drop with the mainstream music or on tempo with what's on the mainstream. What other better way for us to do that than go that cover? You get what I'm saying?
Well, there's a slight difference there, though. Like, you could still make original go-go records, but like, and I didn't get, we didn't, I shouldn't say we didn't get all the way there we didn't get all the way where I wanted to be with Mambo songs, but it was close. And so, but it was original music, but it was at roughly the same BPM as the other songs that were on the radio in other genres, so that you could put it in between those records and it still made sense. Where if you put hardcore straight go-go, in between those regular songs, it doesn't quite make as much sense. And I've talked about that before. Like, when you talk about what Bustin' Loose was out. Okay, Bustin' Loose was an original record, and it was a international song. But it sounded like what else was on the radio. Like, it was Gap Band and Cameo and shit like that on the radio at that time. When the Butt came out, it sounded like Salt and Pepper, Heavy D. It was all in that lane of what other stuff sounded like. It just had a go-go swing and a go-go vibe to it. Welcome to DC doesn't really sound like what else was out in 2007, 2008, but it sounded enough like it. It was recorded at a high enough quality, and the song was good. No, it wasn't Rock Nation. It was rock music.
You had people here that didn't want to accept that as go-go, though, and that was go-go.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was different. It was
Yeah,
different.
but
People was
but but guess
accept different.
guess how much I care about the people that said it wasn't go go.
No question.
Yeah, they can have my whole hairy white ass to kiss. I don't give a shit what you say. Go is the beat, the percussion, and that's what was in there. So I don't give a fuck what you say. And I played for Northeast Groovers solo, filled in with backup, Optimistic Tribe, Occupation, and I created Marvel Sauce. So I'm part of Go. I get to say what Go is. I don't give a fuck what you say. And I also have told this story many times. I turned down many shows because at the time when Marvel Sauce was out, you couldn't play in a club if you were Go. It was, you know what I'm saying? They were telling you no, and a bunch of people were like, well, just say you're an R&B band and bring the congos in the back door. No, we're a go-go band. We're just a different kind of go-go band because you can have, it doesn't have to be monolithic. Like fucking Master P and Most Def are both hip hop rap artists, but they don't sound anything alike. But that's okay. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason that you can't have TCB and Marble Sauce and Rare Essence. They don't sound anything alike, but it's still go-go. You know what I mean? So, again, this is sort of getting back to my earlier point, which is we need to pay attention to the sonic quality of how, and well, even before you get to the
CCB
sonic
kind of did
quality.
it.
They did. I got to give them their credit. But even prior to the sonic quality is the song. And that's the thing. That's the difference between what we do in go-go and what almost every other genre of music does. They start with a song. And any of those songs you're talking about, put your one leg up, put a beauty on the floor, fucking Run Joe, Drop the Bomb, any of those songs. And they may have slight deviations in the arrangement, but it's a song. It's not a 14-minute long shout out session with 3 hooks in it and 5 dudes screaming on a microphone. It's a song. You know what I'm saying? And so Welcome to
Whole
DC
verses
is
and
a
all that
song. Right.
structure.
Versus so yeah, right. So okay, so this is a perfect segue. I know I keep deviating off the subject, but back into part of what you've done with the clubhouse at the DMV lunchroom. There was at least one where there was some industry people who are not affiliated with GoGo who gave you some knowledge, and I don't remember if I was in that room or not, but that you brought up in subsequent rooms about why people on the outside think that GoGo hasn't made a bigger impact, and you've mentioned it multiple times. So can you tell the people what those things were?
Visuals, basically presentation. Um, what was the song length? The average?
Like under 3 minutes, three and a half minutes,
Basically,
under 3.5 minutes. Yeah,
yeah,
and
create an
it gets
original
shorter every
song
year.
in under 3 minutes with a verse, hook, verse, a hook again, verse, or a verse, hook,
Or bridge.
bridge, drop off, whatever one you want to do to go to showcase your talent. But basically, keep the song in under 3 minutes. And to be honest, those songs exist in go-go, but the bands choose not to play them because those songs are not the songs that the crowd chose to hear. So with that being said, if y'all watching and y'all are in the band that got these songs, it's time that y'all start playing and putting presentation to these songs. If I'm on the outside looking in like them, yes, I will feel the same way as them. Like it's not being pushed out there for them people to even know about it. So to actually hear from their mouth and then actually be able to look on the outside and see like they definitely telling the truth. CCB was doing it, and then I mean, you know what happened behind closed doors or whatever. They not a band no more, but they
No, they
definitely
are
had
again. They're a band
Hawaii.
again now.
They not this. They not that band that was doing
Right.
what they were doing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That particular band were they was really in the studio. They was writing. They was constructing songs. They still getting paid from those songs. Matter of fact, some just happened again where they just got a lot of money and recognition for Matt Fatty going viral on TikTok. So
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Well, I don't know if they got a lot of money because I had E-Time on here a couple of weeks
A
ago.
lot
And
of
basically,
spins or something. I mean,
they did a campaign where they spent money to get that up, and that's an
got you.
important distinction, which I know you understand, but I want to make sure that the people watching understand is that if you only think you're supposed to receive money, then you're going to be broke forever. You have to spend money. And I mean, there's an old cliche, you got to spend money to make money, but it's just a business truth. In order to, like, I don't care if you own a hot dog stand, you got to advertise your fucking glizzies, pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, you, you,
This nigga,
you can't
you
just
gotta advertise
expect.
your fucking glizzies.
That's where, that's how you, like, you got a clothing company. You spend money to advertise your clothes so that people will buy them, and the trick is to get more revenue than the expenses that you have. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason in go-go, we just think, oh, we're supposed to crank and money's just a fall out of the
If you
sky.
crank it, they
That's not
will
how it works.
come.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I hate to say it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so somebody needs to put that on a
You see,
t-shirt.
Malachi, I came
Yeah.
from this time in Go Go too, right? If
Hmm.
we had a show, but we came to your show and passed out flyers on all your cars and at the let out. We had our other two mans at the backyard show doing it, and our other two mans at the TCB jump, and our other two mans at the UCB jump, and so forth and so on. And we went to Create DC and got 10, 20,000 flyers and 1,000 posters. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
that's a different type of promoting. And
Yep.
it was a different type of crowds coming out as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I feel like if we start, everything reinvents itself again. We need to go back and start reinventing some of our old ways in go and change our business ways. You know what I'm saying? So go
Hmm.
back to original music, go back to the on the ground street promo and and get the city back intact with go because right now we just like rap city.
Right. Right. So what is going on with the DMV lunchroom now? And I don't want to keep harping on that because I know some
We
people
just
are
did
on Clubhouse. But
the fucking the deadline was March 1st. So we just finished all the submissions. We going through everything. I think this
submissions
week
for what?
for the project, the DMV Lunchroom Presents project. And
Mhm.
what we did is we went through, we found all the songs, all the submissions. We gonna listen to all of them, and what we gonna narrow it down, I guess, to the artist that we feel at this point is talented enough to go on the first presentation of the project.
Mhm.
Linked in with some original go-go concept, rap, R&B, and whatever genre of music that they want to do. Even if you do jazz, if we
Mhm.
could fit you in on a song, we'll do that. If you rap about spoken word, we might put you with a singer. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
we here to mix people and mix our talents and just put it all into a soup bowl and see what we come out with. I believe that we have more than enough talent in our area to do so.
Right. Right. That's what's up. Real quick, my man, learning with Go-Go. Now, it wasn't Rock Nation; it was Rock Music. This is prior to the Rockefeller and Live Nation merger. Rock Nation was like their side project kind of thing. But
They
real
are
quick, also,
smart with that. Learning with
yeah,
go love
yeah,
it, man. Love
yeah.
it.
Well, we also got, speaking of Create DC, my man Chris Birch on here. He said, "What kind of you got a rap concert going on in the back or something? It's a whole bunch of noise."
Me?
Chris said, "Yeah, you."
No,
Yeah.
there
Oh,
was a four wheeler or something outside.
oh, I got you. I got you. Oh, that must have been what Noise was talking about earlier. DJ Noise said, "My bad, that was me with the motor dirt bike outside." It was just, but my man Chris Birch, our man Chris Birch from Create DC said, "I haven't seen Tony in years, but where did the TonyT originate?" Love you both, bro.
Oh man, what's up, Chris? Basically, you remember back in the day?
I'm sorry. Where did the do the TonyT originate? I should say. Yeah.
Oh, um, basically, again, I told you. when I play the roller times, I am not dancing to show off. I am actually marching, like,
Keeping the count.
because I
Yep.
came from marching band, so I'm marching. I'm keeping the count on playing. And one
Mm-hmm.
day I was playing, like, if I'm playing or whatever, and I see you in the crowd, like, even if it's you, Malachi, if I see you in the crowd, I'm gonna speak while I'm playing. So
Right.
one day I'm playing, Killer Cow rapper came in the show, and I was playing or whatever, and I did this with the sticks. I spoke
Mm-hmm.
to them. They was like, "Oh shit!" Like, fucking them up like it's a dance. So I look back over again, and rapper was doing like this, like, do it again. So I did it again or whatever. And then after the show, he was like, man, you don't come see what band, but I need you to come Wednesday. I'm gonna make you famous. I was like, whatever, man, whatever. Like, all I know is this rapper, this nigga's the GOAT. We going to see
Yep.
what band Wednesday. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Go see what band Wednesday. Catch me at the bar. He buy me a drink. He like, look, you gotta brand yourself. I never forget it. That's when I found out about what branding myself was. He was like, you gotta brand yourself after this. He got on the
Mm-hmm.
stage. They dropped the song. What band Drew came out, played his little part, and then they said, elbows up, do the TonyT. And I looked around, and the whole fucking club already knew the dance before I fucking knew that they turned it into a dance. So
That's
when
what's
I
up.
seen the club doing it, I was like, damn, like, this shit is tight. And that's just what it became. And from that day forward, like, to have somebody who I was like 1, 2 years old listening to on the radio, like, make a song about me, like, I never, ever, ever, ever be ungrateful for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, rapper's definitely a genius. He is definitely a genius
Yeah,
on that
Killer Cow,
microphone
man,
for sure.
like
Mhm.
a pivotal piece to me and Gogo. You know what I'm saying? From that day forward,
Yeah,
everything I did from that day forward was because of Killer Cow giving me the alley all the way to where I'm at now.
that's my man. So that's a good, yeah, that's a good segue. So, I accidentally out of my list of bands that I played with earlier, I left out the what band with rapper and Killer Cow as well, Michelle Blackwell. So, how did you end up playing with Rare Essence?
Polo passed.
Mm-hmm.
When Polo passed
Okay.
away, it was like one of those things where it'll never be the same. The conductor gone, but
Mm-hmm.
we gonna still do it for our man. And
Mm-hmm.
on the flip side, I was rapping. Polo was my manager and band. So I still was rapping and doing the band and just put Polo on all my album covers, all my mixtape covers, all my songs, like, just push pray for Polo, whole movement. And then after a while, I was just like, man, it's not the same. Um, just not what I want to do in this fashion no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what happened was me and Bo started going to see RE just to go see RE because honestly, they had the city locked the fuck down besides us. You know what I'm saying? Like, their
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
shows was popping. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like when you was branching from TCB, when you was kids to go to a RE show, you were grown. You know what I'm saying? So when we
Right.
was old enough
Yep.
to switch over, it was like when TCB ain't playing, everybody at the RE show. So we started going to see our peers. And
Right.
we ended up getting on one day, courtesy of Killer Cow. He hollered at White Boy. White Boy was like, oh yeah, TCB? Oh shit, yeah. We love them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Love them to death. They could definitely get on. We start getting on with RE. We got on one time. The next weekend, came in the club, we in there chilling. They seen us. They fucking played it again. We got on. The
Right.
week after that, they seen us in the club, and from that day
Mm-hmm.
forward, it that's just what it was. We never practiced with them. We never came to no agreement on this is what we gonna do. Sometimes we'll just be like, man, we not going to see RE tonight, man. We gonna chill. Like, all right, bet. 11:30 come, nigga be like, man, what the fuck y'all doing, man? Shit, I'm bored, man. We about to go see RE. And we'll go see RE. You know what I'm saying? And it went from there.
Right.
So then what happened was me and Shorty Dub got cool. And he was like, look,
Mm-hmm.
we OGs in this shit. And eventually, you know,
Shorty Dud is the Timbali
the
roll call
Timbali
player
player, he
for
like, we
RE.
OGs in this shit. And eventually, you know what it is, like, I'm gonna be stepping down, and I'd rather you be around. You know what I'm saying? to fill in the spot because you got good energy, man. You bond with good peoples. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, bet. If you giving me open spot, I did this with TCB before. I don't have no problem with that. It's cool. So, what happened was, E basically was like, okay, we got this one song, what you
Yes,
wanted.
sir.
We're gonna go do this other song. We did it. Smash hit. It's like cool. Some years go past because in go time flies when you having fun. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, you look up, it's time to be playing at the show again with RE, and then it's coming again. Next thing you know, your birthday done came 2-3 times. You know what I'm saying? And just
Right.
time just flies. And then it was just like a situation where RE played outside at a festival downtown. And when they played, it's two sides of RE. It's the legendary side of RE, and then it's the current band RE. So
Mm-hmm.
the legendary side was playing outside, mixed with the current band.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of them situations where I felt as though I didn't want to be on the stage because I'd rather look at the legends play. I'm here as a fan right now, like, oh shit, I really get to see the whole entire old band. You know what I'm saying? They did full
Mm-hmm.
brass, all of that. And I'm in the crowd and they finished playing, and in this crowd, Malachi, I lie to you not, it was probably like me and one other black person. It was that type of crowd. It's a festival. These white people are here to see Rare Essence. Fuck the DJ, fuck the council members, fuck the free energy Red Bull drinks they giving out. They not caring about none of that shit.
I
They here
think
to
I think I think Becky sent me some video from that day.
They
Yep.
here to see RE. I'm talking about they know the words to the old songs, all that. And this is the RE with James Funk on stage.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they really know all his words. And the end of
Mm-hmm.
the show, Funk, he going down the line, he introducing the whole band or whatever, and I'm out in the crowd. And he was going through the whole band or whatever, and he introduced everybody, and he was like, yeah, we are Rare Essence. And then he looked in the crowd, was like, ho, I forgot about our other Dynamite Timbali player, TonyT. He right here in the crowd. Everybody give a hand for TonyT. He got a part of the show that make everybody go crazy, and just all the white people was just like, woo! Just start, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what the fuck? Like this James Funk just
White
said,
white people love Tony T. I guess
yeah,
so.
but James Funk was just like, I'm like, damn, James Funk just said I play for Red Essence. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
That's how it happened, bro. Nobody just was like, "Hey, you ready to? You want to be in the band?" Like, no, it really happened like that. And
Oh, so
from
that was just. Oh, okay. I sort
I
of missed
found
that
out
part of the
like
story.
that,
So that was how you found out. I got you.
yeah.
That's what's up.
And I was like, "Damn." Well, I guess I'm officially with RE because James Funk just told me I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, and White Boy
Right.
was just like, "No, man, you already know we love you to death, so it is what it is." And I've been there ever since. Whenever they call me, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And you know, like I was young, so when I came into it, bro, I had a lot of old head people who was in RE before me, and they were like telling me discouraging things to make me like be keep my guard up. And I was just like, man, I'm not going in here like that. Like I'm going in here to take the experience for what it is. And they gave me A1 business from day one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And people treat me like I've been in a band all their life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm their age. You know what I'm saying? They don't treat me like I'm some little add-on or little water boy or nah. It's not like that. Like my input
Mm-hmm.
counts. Like that's just what it is. They call me, say they got a song. They bring me the song. It's already founded. I just gotta do my pop. And believe it
That's
or
up.
not, no practices, Mo.
Yeah. That's how
Straight,
I was when I got.
straight
That's
energy.
how I was when I got to Northeast too. Like we weren't practicing. My audition for Northeast was at the Icebox in front of 1 billion people. Yeah, I feel you. So y'all still don't practice. Well, I guess with COVID
No, they
makes it
do.
hard now. But even pre-COVID.
They
Oh,
do.
you don't. You
I
don't.
never did. They actually have a band practice. I
Oh,
just
okay.
never went with those particular people in their band and had a practice on what we do. When I went to
Okay.
their practice once, it was to learn some old stuff for out of town show. Like what we do with RE straight on the fly, me and Killer Cow from the soul.
Wow. That's what's up. That's what's up. Only in go-go, man. Only in go-go. Well, I appreciate it, man. We're coming up close on 3 hours now. So what do you got? What are you working on now? Like what can we look forward to from Tony T? What you got cooking?
I miss playing with RE. I'm
I
sad.
bet.
I really miss playing with RE. I miss the crowd. I miss the energy. I miss the stage. I've been gigging it a little bit on and off during this pandemic, but I haven't. It's not the same. Like I've been doing everything on for free. Like I just been having
Hmm.
fun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just want to get back to the money and get back to making people happy.
Right.
On the flip side, I'm back on the rap music, doing my rap music. I'm trying to put together a rap go-go whole project with different producers that all make rap go-go beats. So people can
Hmm.
tap in. I got my clothing line, Buffini Life.
Where can people go to get
The
if
stores
they
in
want to
Marlow
buy
Heights, I
clothes?
just got a store in Marlow Heights.
Oh,
The
congrats.
store in Marlow Heights is appointment only. Hit me on Buffini on Instagram, Boofini. When you put that on Instagram, all the pages gonna come up. But it's Buffini Life Apparel on Instagram, and basically you come in there safely by yourself with a friend, shop. I just don't want a lot of people in it. You know what I'm saying? At one time. I know a lot of
Okay.
people from a lot of different places, so to avoid people meeting in spots where they be arguing and bumping heads, nah, it's appointment only.
Makes sense. I'm trying to put it up on the screen, but I'm having technical difficulties. So
Buffini Life
Buffini
Apparel,
Life Life
apparel,
Apparel on IG.
and then for people that smoke funnel, I got my own funnel company with my little bro. What's the name of it? Blend Shakers. Yeah. So tap in. We got the best blood clot funnel in the world.
All right, I'm gonna go with the clothing
Yeah,
line.
that's it right there.
Yeah, but I'm gonna leave the rest of that stuff for people to find
They
on
know what
their
it
own.
is. Tap
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
It look like it's
Bet.
about to be
All
dark
right.
over there.
Yeah, man. It's getting a little bit sun's going down a little
And you
bit,
look like you on like the 53rd floor.
No, just a four. Just a four.
All right.
Yeah, nah. My wife doesn't. My wife doesn't like too high buildings, although they are building like a
Well, I
37
see that one
story
over there.
building down the street.
That jump about 32 floors off your window right there.
Yeah, yeah, the one over there is but she just doesn't want to live in one. But she's getting acclimated now, so it's a nice new building down the street. It's gonna be like 37 stories. She might want to move into that one,
She
so we'll
might
see
take
how
the
that.
10th. She moving on
Yeah,
up. The 10th. That's
yeah,
about.
yeah.
But nah,
Well, now one and one, and you can see the ocean and mountains and all that. Yeah, it's
I
a
was just
little
about
bit
to
cheap.
say, she probably say penthouse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not. I ain't all got that penthouse budget yet. We gotta, we gotta get this go-go record label going here pretty soon. A little bit
It's
more than
coming.
that
It's
before I get the
coming. You gotta
penthouse.
claim
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah. No, it's happening. It's coming. Well, you already know. But yeah, man. Listen, man. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad you were able to work it out. Again, thank you for buying a whole ass laptop just to do this interview with me. I know you
Still
don't
got
really do
stickers
interviews, so
on
I
it.
appreciate it.
And I bought a Halo ring.
Yeah, there you go. You bought the ring light and everything, man. I appreciate you, bro. Like for real. And I
I
mean,
owed
you
it
know
to
how to get me
everybody,
with.
man. I don't be doing these interviews, bruh. Malachi, it means a lot, man, to have me on here. I'm going to start doing more interviews for the future with people, and I definitely enjoyed it, bro.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, likewise, likewise. Appreciate you, and we'll talk soon. I've been off Clubhouse a little bit for the past few weeks, but I'll be
Me
back.
too.
And oh, for real, yeah. So I haven't really been in the room, but thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Daryl. Learning with Go, Chiefy, DJ Noise, Chris from the Print Shop. We had my man Conan on here earlier, DJ Chino, Alizé. Yeah, so it's great to see everybody. Thank you again.
Press Shop Chris,
And
that's my man.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So cool, man. Well, yeah, man. Appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon,
Always.
online or off. All right, bro. Have a good one. All right. Thanks everybody for checking in. Make sure you check out Buffini Life Apparel. I think I spelled that right on Instagram. I was having technical difficulties. Apparel looks like it's spelled wrong, but just spell apparel. Just Google how to spell apparel, and that'll be it. I'm sure he spelled it right on his. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Speaking of apparel, go ahead and head over to gogotalx.co/shop. Get your Gogo as Fuck t-shirt right now. Or I got the sweatshirts too, the champion sweatshirts. They're pretty dope. I have two of them, and they're extremely comfortable. So yeah, I don't remember who I have on next week. I honestly, I think I'm going to take a break from these. I've done almost 80, if not more than 80 of them so far, and I think I need a little bit of a break. But I do really appreciate all of you guys tuning in, and we will definitely keep you informed as to when they're coming back. Head to gogotix.co for all of the upcoming show listings and blogs. Put up the new releases. We got the new release from Sirius Company up. TCB released something a couple of weeks ago. It's up there as well. Black Alley. Actually, I just put out the Black Alley Blinding Lights, the weekend go-go remix out on my new record label, 7070 Sound. So we just put that out. That's up on the blog as well. It's also on all streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, everywhere. Thank you to WPGC, my man Jealousy, and DJ Reg on WPGC for rocking it. My man Malcolm Xavier on KYS for rocking it, and always my man DJ Rico on Magic and Go Radio for rocking it as well. So check that out right now. It's Black Alley, Blinding Lights, Go Remix. Stream it and download it off my new record label, 7070 Sound. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, DJ Noise. And I'll keep you guys informed as to when the next episode will be. And yeah, just hit me up on Instagram at GoGoTix or get GoGoTix on Instagram. Or gogotix.co. You can send a message through the contact form or whatever. Or if you follow me personally on Instagram, it's just at Malachi Johns. Thanks again, everybody, and we will see you next time.